rum shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
We in the rum shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
We in the rum shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
We in the rum shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
So bring the rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So bring the rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so good afternoon, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and wherever else in the world we broadcasting. We live from Victoria Grab and Go on Park Street in Port of Spain. Don't forget to stop by and pick up something off the shelf. They have many items here. You can try the yogurt that we just go crazy. Yeah, everybody say, yeah, don't forget to tell them about the yogurt, you know. All right, so
She was here today, and I tell her, I said, Stephan is your biggest fan.
oh gosh, yes. We had to get any play. We had to get any play.
Watch,
She'll take over the market.
we organizing a group of investors to invest with her.
Nice,
Anyway, carry on.
So welcome to the Rum Shop Talk, and well, the usual cast in studio. We have Phillip, Edward, Alexander, Stephan, Matterson, and of course Selvon. Selvon. Is Selvon today?
Call him
All right,
anything,
nice.
just don't call him late for dinner.
All right, so we have Selvon here as well, and we understand that Errol Fabian is on his way. Is he?
But right now, in the hot seat today, we have Rohan Sidanan.
Yes, Rohan Sidanan
Rohan,
is sitting
thank
in.
you for agreeing to join the show today.
Yeah.
We look forward to you clarifying some issues.
Yes. I particularly like seeing you, by all the potholes, fixing all the potholes in
Yeah, but
Trinidad.
that was good.
Yeah, that's the same fella there. I see him regular.
That was a nice shot.
So, we'll talk about a few things today. We're talking about several different things because a lot of things happened over the last week since the last Rum Shop Talk when we had NCW on. The first thing we want to start with is to express our bitter disappointment in the Minister of Works and Transport, yes, you were on, in removing the barrels put down by the PEP on the DB debt strip. Phillip, well, you have first-hand knowledge, you're the man that worked on that project. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think Phillip should tell us why the barrels was put down in the first place. What has been happening before that created the need to put down those barrels.
This initiative.
And, give us some statistics. Tell us what happened. Why we needed those barrels.
Well, the backstory basically is, by now, everybody knows the amount of people that have been crashing and dying at that roundabout. They've created the end of a highway, and it's suddenly a roundabout. But it's not just a roundabout. It's a roundabout encircled by concrete New Jersey barriers. So it's not like you're just hitting a roundabout. You're slamming into concrete. And that's what's been killing people because they said that they had some signs. And the first time we went and we raised the issue, they said they had some signs. So I went down and I filmed the signs that they had. And the signs that they had were all hidden in the shrubbery. So nobody was seeing it. And they pretended that you were supposed to be able to see it, and they would send their trolls out to talk about people driving too fast and all kind of nonsense. But you're on a highway. You're on a highway.
So you spend your millions to put barrels to create that kind of safety.
You got real money, boy.
Know to slow down.
Well,
It had to be millions.
we didn't know it. This wasn't public. This was private sector. Private sector, it wouldn't cost millions.
No, but
if it was Rohan,
that didn't cost millions?
if it was Rohan, it would have cost millions. And I want to say this, though. I want to say that
Everything
a
costs
bunch of
millions.
corporate citizens jumped up and assisted with the actual. When we proposed it, we said, listen, Mr. Minister, if you can't do it, we will do it.
Yeah.
So we literally threw down the gauntlet.
But he did say at some point in time to fix your own roads, right?
And he did say fix your own roads. So when people say that we're doing something that is the ministry's job, the ministry called on us to do it. When we threw down that gauntlet and we said, listen, if you don't fix it, we will. People can't be dying on this highway. He went and he put some buckets of water with lights on top it
Go.
in front of the barricades.
But by the time you hit that, you don't reach already.
Too late.
It's too late.
And that's the point. You see what really supposed to have been done there, right? Is that it's a 2-lane highway going south. For many people who use that piece of highway, they're using it for the first time. And
Right.
the last thing you expected is for it to come to a sudden end. Even if you're doing 50 kilometers per hour, there's a law of physics, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. For you to hit an immovable object and stop, it has to respond to your 50 kilometers per hour in this direction with 50 kilometers per hour in that direction to stop you there. So you actually hit at 100 kilometers per hour, which is a murderous speed to hit at.
So we
that,
solve
yeah.
the problem with the barrels.
Yeah, but people, you ask for a backstory, and I just want to say this, that people who have been hitting this thing, and Stephan, we ran...
Phillip, you fix the problem with the barrels, right? You like the
fix the
barrels?
problem. We fix the
Right,
problem.
so then what's the problem?
So you
We
put
fix
on,
it.
wait, hold on. You put on these barrels when?
Yesterday,
And they remove it today.
and they remove it today.
Why do they remove it? They remove it.
Were you
after-
supposed to get approval from the Ministry of Works and Transport to put it down?
They remove the barrels.
Brother, it was a donation. Like the 20 signs
Just now, they remove the barrels.
today.
Yeah, they remove it.
But they say they have no money to fix the roads and that kind of thing. They use COVID money. So why did they remove the battery lights?
And I say in the Trinidad and Tobago, it's like it was a donation like the 20 signs in Wildflower Park.
I find we should ask Ron. Ron, why does he remove it?
If they could remove these barrels in 24 hours, Stephan Reis, why they didn't remove the 20 illegal signs in Wildflower Park?
So why didn't they
And the
remove the
camera.
copper cables? They just leave that for the scrap iron meant to steal. But they could go and remove that. They could remove that.
This tells you how petty
That's the height of pettiness.
this government and administration is. So you put on them signs to save lives.
Boss,
You put on those lights to save lives.
600 feet from that dead strip roundabout, dead stop roundabout, you would encounter barrels, day glow orange with reflective tape on either side. In the periphery of your vision, every 100 feet you would see lights flashing at you,
Telling you
which
to
is
slow down.
an international standard that something is going on. You
slow
would
down.
slow down.
Yeah.
What I was going to tell you just now is what we told him, because Dr. Ray Furlong is a Trinidadian and he's one of the foremost authorities on traffic and road and highway. And because you have 2 lanes coming to a complete sudden stop, you were supposed to merge one lane into the other. So people would, a slow merge, so people would know, okay, wait, slow down, something is going on here. You were supposed to put rumble strips. The first time I spoke about rumble strips, Rohan Sinanan never heard about rumble strips in his life. He went and put rumble strips in McCoy, and he went and Googled it. He said, but it's a good idea.
idea.
He put it in the wrong place. He went and put it in McCoy and caused accidents there.
But you see, this is the problem, eh? Like I had an interview with Errol not here.
I still can't believe, I mean, as a critical thinking person,
I
still can't believe they move them lights.
I had an interview with Guy Gifford this morning. And to my amazement, after everything that the Prime Minister said on the
capacity.
to respond to the biggest mistake. We were getting to all of that.
Oh.
But the point I want to make is Gary said during the interview, he said, look, anything I could offer the country, I am here to offer the country. If it is advice, I don't want for the work. But at least let's communicate. Because I feel I have something to offer. And I don't mind we communicating and I saying, look, this is an idea that you could use to lessen the crime or whatever the situation might be. So, okay. So here we have Phillip now. So Phillip has been dealing with this debate that strip for a while now. Right? You've been going down there and dealing
Months.
for a while now.
So we did about
And that's
4
that's
videos.
a big drive for a man who didn't know where Cedros was just about a year ago. Eh?
That's me. God bless Wales. God bless.
Thank God for
At,
Wales.
at 400 meters, turn left.
Turn left. but the point I'm making is this, right? So, okay, you went to respond to the people in the area who having problems with that particular strip, right? Your response was one for the people.
But of course,
Okay. And so then what Rohan Sinanan response was for in removing that? Now, did you get a call from the ministry, anybody in the ministry saying, Mr. Alexander, we saw what you did down at the DB strip. You need to get that approved. You can't just put it on like that. We might send the minister said he has to remove it until you get some sort of approval. You didn't get nothing like that. No
I
conversation,
want to
no
tell you
nothing.
something. When the National Gas Company dug up Wrightson Road 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
there were similar barrels with lights. I'd like to ask to see what approval they got.
So will you be getting back your barrels?
Well, we've contacted our attorneys
Right.
because there was a certain amount of time if something is
And-
stolen to make a report to the police.
Yeah, yeah. So one, will you be getting back your barrels? Why did they remove it? What is your rationale behind moving? What did they replace it with? Did they replace it with something? All these questions
None
I
of that
ask
was.
because if people die there now, I mean, people should have been suing this government a long time for the roads, the state of the roads and accidents.
All this is you here? All this here?
No,
All
you
this
see
here?
those
Uh-huh.
that you're watching there,
Yeah.
those are the ones that he put right in front of the concrete barrier as if a bucket of water
But that's
will
too late.
stop you
That's too late, that's too late.
in 3 feet. In 3 feet, you're supposed to stop because behind that is the concrete barrier. And Rohan Sinanan, but you have to understand, Rohan Sinanan is not qualified in anything but packing grocery shelves.
Well,
That is what he
a
was.
minister don't have to be qualified.
No, but he thinks he is. That's the problem. He speaks as someone who believes that he is qualified to speak. He is very reminiscent of Fitzgerald Hines. Speak like somebody who's qualified to speak on issues. And that's why somebody called me today and said, they was making a joke. They said, Rohan Sinanan should get a raise in pay. That the job harder when you don't know how to do it. And that's the truth. People like him, McDonald Jacobs, Fitzgerald Hines, Colm Imbert, we're not understanding. Before there were third-party options, myself, Watson Duke, Gary Griffith, before there were third-party options, the country had to sit down and say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And which one go jamming less this wrong?
Yeah, yeah.
So we didn't have to critically think through issues. But if you critically think through the issues, you know, Stephan Reis, I want to tell you something. If they do a commission of inquiry into our handling of the pandemic, you need to be a star witness. You have charted on your show and on your videos, you have charted all of our foray from about March 2020 into this thing. So you have I have always, if ever I'm doing a live video and I'm going to talk about that thing, I'd check your videos to get information, or I'd bring you on the show so that you could talk about it. You were speaking about these issues more than doctors, and I'm saying this to you that the country now, where we are now as a people, we are in a dangerous place. We have a minister of health who does not understand his job. And that's why when he said earlier that we have the highest deaths in the world from this thing.
From COVID.
When he said that we have the
Per
highest,
capita, yeah, per
you
capita, yeah.
cannot,
That's per
you,
capita.
but
Per capita.
but-
Yet they said, as we talking about the roads, and I think I see the problem with the barrels. Well, Chuck, give me the picture. It's a picture with it on the back of a truck. The barrels are them orange. That's the problem. It should have been red. You might have leave it alone if it was red. You put it orange, man. But here the thing.
no, we seen orange for a reason.
As we talk,
Orange is an actual safety color.
of course, it's a yes.
Orange is a safety color.
It
Red,
makes sense.
red is a
the barrels he
warning.
put on by the thing orange too, you know. The barrels he put on by the concrete.
Yeah.
It's orange.
Why he didn't move his barrels? Our barrels made more sense.
Exactly.
His barrels is an obstacle, a distraction, and a false sense of security.
Yeah.
If you crash into a bucket of water that is 3 feet in front of a concrete obstacle,
Bucket of water move.
Yeah.
but you've hidden the threat. You've given me a false sense of security and you've hidden the
Yeah,
threat.
50 thread.
So you are actually contributing to increase
To endangering people's lives, yeah, because they're not seeing the
You make it worse.
They're not seeing the danger.
You've made it worse.
It's blocked.
what we created was a runway
visual of
on
it?
either side.
I would really like to hear what is your rationale because they will say it. I really hear what is your rationale behind moving them barrels.
But I want to jump in with
I would
something,
love
you know.
to hear that too.
No, I want to measure it on different fronts. A front that say there are no engineer in Ministry of Works. There are no qualified capacity
Apparently
people
not.
in Ministry of Works because watching the water bottles in front of the barrier, you know, which make no sense at all. And you are telling me an engineer sit there and say,
I can answer that question.
put the water there, really?
Stephan, I want to say to you, one of the lanes the right lane of this highway. This is the danger, you know. This was killing people. In Trinidad, you're supposed to drive on the left, except when
overtaken.
But in Trinidad, if you're in a hurry, you know drive on the left lane because it's clear. Everybody on the right lane. We just do wrong as if wrong and right.
Yeah.
That's Trinidad.
And I was going to answer that question the other day, you know. You know why you car drive on the left lane? You're going to mash up your car, boy.
No,
It's so bad on the left
but
lane because I driving up the highway just yesterday and I'm saying, you know, I'm driving on the right lane. I'm driving 100 kilos on the right lane on cruise control and I say, you know why I'm driving on the right lane, brother? Because I can't drive on the left
On
lane.
the
It's
left.
too bad.
Salman, I want to tell you something. This is even worse. This one not funny. Because I got into this, you see when I get into things, international people contact me, people who qualify in anything. They say, Philip, in your country, your ministry has continuously put people's lives in danger. Trinidad is the only place where on a major thoroughfare like Reis Road, there will be a deceleration lane to turn. So this is the overtaken lane. Let's say you're passing Gene Beck Complex, Mobytown.
Yeah.
The left lane is your deceleration lane. That is your under the speed limit lane. The other lane is your overtaken lane. But they also give you, on the right of that lane, a deceleration lane to turn right. Which contradicts
The purpose of
the purpose of an overtake lane. When you asked the question just now, the right lane, it serves one purpose. In a perfect world, if everybody was obeying the law, everybody going down the road in the left lane, the right lane clear. And when you driving in front of me,
When you want to overtake,
you below the speed limit. I'm
Yeah.
not supposed to break the law. I'm supposed to be under the speed limit. But you under the speed limit, I want to pass you.
but not only that, even if I break any law, driving over 100 kilometers, for whatever reason I might be in an emergency or whatever, I must be able to overtake you.
But exactly. But you see the point of this thing in Davie, and this is what you all lead to.
Someone might say he's driving on the right side because he.
But you're not supposed to have a law for driving too slow?
100 kilometers.
There is.
That's
Yeah.
not excuse. Keep left except when overtaken.
But this needs to be put into the conversation. Where that roundabout sits at the end, the left lane safe. Because even if you don't know the roundabout there, the roundabout isn't in the left lane.
Okay.
But the roundabout is a concrete stop to the fast lane. And that's what's killing people. And that's why I asked him to slowly merge the right lane into the left lane before you reach the roundabout.
Exactly.
Because
Makes
if
sense.
you did that on the ground with white lines, that's all you have to
Yeah,
do.
the zebra lines.
Or once I see those lines, I know
No,
if
yes,
I
yes.
continue driving on the white lines
I
and
go
I
into
drive off a
something.
cliff, I'm responsible.
Yeah.
You've guided me.
So you
Right?
have, so that fast lane going straight into the concrete.
That fast lane
Well,
is
it's
straight.
Square, sub square.
into
straight
the,
to
into the concrete wall.
Well,
There's no
the
merger.
roundabout is halfway into the left
Yeah.
lane, but the left lane you could pull. Because you could see that you could
But
pull
it's
in.
in the right lane.
But the right lane,
I've
there's
seen it, yeah. I've seen what you're talking about on the
The
left.
right lane, they have nowhere
The
for you
right
to
lane, yeah,
go.
it's on the
the
right
right
lane.
lane.
Really have
The right
no way to
lane.
go.
So he put them bucket of water. He put them bucket of water. So if you never see it, now I was going to tell you something just now. When we were running for election in Davie South, it was the first time I encountered that piece of road.
All
I
that time
was-
you didn't have the bucket of water.
No bucket of
So
water.
when you make noise, you put the bucket of water.
They put the bucket water after. When we drove down there, the person in the car with me said, hey, slow down, you know, this road ending. I said, what are you saying? And I slow down and see this.
Because you see no merge at all.
Nothing. There is nothing to tell. There was
Imagine
nothing.
he was driving in the
He
night, Brad.
said,
Imagine he was going down there in the night.
boss man, this is what
No,
killed.
people die. People die.
This is what killed people.
Yes.
And when they said that there are signs, I went and filmed all the signs. And all of the signs were hidden by the bush because all of the signs were on the
Yeah,
left.
yeah,
And
that's
And
what
the
it is
bush
on
had
that side, yeah.
overgrown the signs. There
Yeah.
was nothing in the road to tell you that this is coming to an end. Rohan Sinanan put the buckets of water at the end of the death strip. At that point, if you reach that bucket of water at 40 kilometers per hour, you're in trouble.
You can't stop.
40 is far below the speed limit.
You
Yeah.
can't stop it.
You see, my-
Let me just
yeah.
say this. I mean, I doesn't want to get into the politics, but again, because I was heavily
Can't avoid
involved
it.
in the politics,
You
but
can't
can't
avoid
avoid it, right?
How do you avoid the politics of this?
His life, his life.
Pre-2015, before 2015, I was actually blogging on Facebook and all kind of things for the PNM. And I couldn't see no reason why anybody could have want to vote for the UNC. Because to me, like everything they did, we even wrote a book about all the blunders of the UNC. I have it in my library. And, you know, 5-7 years after, I didn't think a government could get worse than UNC. We're seeing it with everything they do. Look how much murder. Listen.
This government is hated.
Listen.
This government is hated.
Food. To live today, brother. Just to live. I mean, I just check these things. If you check what was the cost of living in 2015 against the average income of a person, it's nowhere closer. If you're working for $3,500 a month, and you have a family, you have 2 children, and you're
you can't survive.
Person, you can't survive. You know?
You can't survive.
Breakfast alone is that.
Yeah.
Because of bread and a tin of tuna.
A tin of
And
tuna,
something-
it's king
and
tuna now,
milk.
you know.
It's more
It's
than
king
it's more
tuna
than
now. A tin of tuna is
People-
$2.99.
People paying rent.
Tuna is 10
People
$10
paying
$11
rent
now.
on whatever
You
they
can
could pay.
live- you can
But they
live on
go in
one
looking
normal
for
salary.
hampers. They go in looking
No,
for hampers. They write
I was
day.
talking about this report that was on CNC3, right? The World Food Report, right? This is nothing that isolated to Trinidad alone, eh? Or a group. It's not a group that is local. It's the World Food. They surveyed 1,500 people in Trinidad and Tobago, right? Here it is, eh? As you come on that point with cost of living. Now they're saying people feeling the effects of the pandemic. So they wanted to know with food security, how people faring in Trinidad and Tobago. 1,500 people surveyed. 450 admitted to skipping meals. 29% admitted to eating less. 5% said they eat no meals when the day come. 68% of the Venezuelan community say they're skipping meals on a regular basis. People dipping into their savings. People selling off their assets. 30%, this statistics said, 30% of people said they could not afford to buy food. 98% of people that were surveyed said food prices increasing too fast. 63% admitted to losing their jobs. That is 63% of 1,500 people, eh? And 50%, and this is the one, 50% of the people polled said they don't feel like it have hope anywhere in the future.
That's unfortunate.
No hope.
That's
50% of 1,500 people
Brother,
feel in a state of depression, mentally affected,
went
no hope.
on Fazir Muhammad show a couple of years ago, and I said to him, about 700,000 people in this country living below the poverty line.
Yeah.
And he asked me, where those numbers? What statistics I reading for that? In a country
Well,
where
you just give me the statistics because he gave 65%
he
of
give
people.
it now. But at that point in time, there is nowhere in Trinidad. You get that from a foreign source. There is nowhere in Trinidad. If
That
you
we
want-
gather in that data.
If you,
That's true.
I tell people,
No,
if
we
you,
don't operate on data and analytics in Trinidad.
analytics in
We
Trinidad,
don't operate
nah.
on that.
He say, he say, she say,
Represent
Militia
by-
money,
I test.
We the militia money, they give XYZ money,
Let me-
their
let me-
friends, whoever.
let me give you
That's
another
it.
example.
That's it.
This
Eh?
is so functioning. It's not
is
Back.
there a central statistical office? Is there one? When
Supposed to have
when,
one.
when was where is the Auditor General's report? Where is the up-to-date census? These things are important. He just say we don't operate by data. People watching this by saying, oh, they're being petty. Let me tell you what data is for. If you're going to plan public health,
Yes.
you need to know how much people you could cater for.
Cannot
There is,
manage what you can measure.
boss,
That's a
actuarians.
fact, yes.
Actuarians just tell you.
You can't measure what you can't manage what you can't
That
measure.
is why, and I go tie in that point there with what the Prime Minister say. He said they acknowledge that the road's bad, but they take the money to save lives.
Nonsense.
Now hold on, eh? You see on your point with the data, how much grants we had? Salary relief grants, unemployment relief
How many people
grant,
get that, boy?
rent. Right. How that could go into the right people's hands?
Hey, that-
Because when you look at statistics
Hey,
like this, you
oi.
have to wonder
Pali,
if these people get a grant,
let me tell you something.
if they get a food card, who get any food
What
card?
happened?
if we not gather any data, and
question you are-
how we know?
Listen, I could tell you. Because that's my feel. That's what I do.
Uh-huh.
I remember for the the pandemic, I had a client that had they sent home about 400 workers. There's just one. Sent home about 400 workers, and I was trying to see how best I could assist them at my office to access the grants. Right? 3 months after they started talking about the grants, about 6 of them was able to access one of the grants. I think
6
it was
out of 400?
Yes, about one of the NIS grants. And when at the end, when all of this was over, when the grants stopped, when Donna Cox come on TV and talk, she's shipping about half of the people was fraudulent and that kind of
Double
thing.
dipping, yeah.
I asked the workers and all the companies for which we sent home persons and that kind, all. And less than 10% of the people said that they was able to access that grant. I'm talking about people who was paying NIS and all that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Now,
So,
granted, in one of the companies in particular,
Yeah.
they were very tardy in paying the NS. So I don't know if that was the reason why
No, but-
the workers, but that had nothing to do with the
No, but
workers,
I'd like to
really.
answer this. I'd like to
Right?
answer this.
Exactly.
It's people who
You
need-
know who suffered? The entire construction industry. Those workers, they didn't fall into anything that you could charge.
They had no job to go to.
They
shut
had
it down.
no job to go to, but they didn't fall into anything that you could charge. You see, the need for data, that is a critical point.
So exactly.
Correct.
So when we talk about data and analytics, if you had a national identification system, or you had a system where you have everybody in a grid, you know how much people pay.
something like what you mentioned with,
Yes,
in terms of the crime thing, yeah.
You would not come on television and embarrass yourself and say half of the people or 3/4 of the people that applied for this thing was fraudulent. You wouldn't come and say that.
Exactly.
She
Because-
had no
so
data
a
to back
government
it up.
minister shouldn't be saying that.
And-
Because you must have the data. How many people want to know? How many people
Let
are
me give you
working?
data. You know what's
Exactly.
data? You know what's data? 9,000 children fail SCA. Gatsby Dolly posted a set of nonsense on social media. This morning she posts, "Don't let nobody dim your inner light, let it shine." And I wrote as a comment, I said, tell the 9,000 children who you have nothing in place for, that when they grow up 5 years from now, when they can't get work, go in Massey and True Value and shine the light for food. Because that is the foolishness. They're talking for the people and they're distracting their followers. I want to give you an example. Out of the blue, the government scrape Reis Road. Out of the blue.
Why?
Just so.
I was going to talk, but you jumped me. But go
Just
ahead.
so.
No,
Out of all the road in Trinidad.
you could go.
Listen, I drive on Rice Road every
Go.
single day.
And that one on the better road.
I say, but
what?
nothing around the road.
Out of the blue,
And
they
just
so.
scrape Reis
They-
Road,
they
right?
scarify
so,
it.
So he say, but it's true, it's governed by VAPs. Out of the blue. So Monday morning now, in the middle of the morning, is mad traffic on Wrightson Road, Arapita Avenue, Trackgate Road, Robert
Yeah.
Street, Warren Street, all of the parallel streets. The beauty of the Woodbrook to Porter Spain run, if you're going to interfere with Wrightson Road, you have Arapita Avenue, Robert Street, Warren Street,
Trackgate Road.
So you could say that I am going to plan this, but they don't plan. And I asked, you
VAPs,
couldn't
everything
put
is by VAPs.
you couldn't put the traffic wardens and the police on Arapita Avenue and say for the next 2 days you cannot park. We want the 2 lanes functional in both directions because Wrightson Road closed. And you would have made sense. These people just make life hard by their incompetence.
Exactly.
The average person, I went to a hairdresser when the COVID thing, when she was allowed to open back, and she tell me, she said the amount of things that they make her fill out to get a grant, that it didn't make sense.
Yes. That's the next thing.
Here, some of the nonsensical thing. You had to,
That's the
people
next
shut
thing.
down. Half of the people who have work, they don't have they still have to pay internet. So
Yeah.
you know where you can't even apply for the things. Because you have
Yeah.
no internet. I know children who was under the stairs and neighbors trying
Yeah.
to get internet to go to school.
Yeah, online
you
learning.
You have nothing in place, but you're telling people to make all these applications via the
Go on,
internet.
go on,
And
line.
It
Craziness.
don't make
I mean,
sense.
I mean, so you don't know who.
Remember when the Minister of Finance said
man.
that we spoke to the banks and the banks are being understanding,
Give me a
and
break.
for the next 3 months,
Understanding,
there was
you know
no
the banks do
understanding.
people?
You know they do
They
people.
hit them compound interest.
That's what they
Yes,
did.
yes,
The
Exactly.
banks-
Even
the
somebody
banks-
credit unions do it.
Yeah.
The banks engaged in the most
People who-
predatory behavior,
Yeah.
took advantage of that pandemic,
Yeah.
charged you extra interest on your loans.
People who didn't even want the
Yeah.
loan thing, they
Deferred.
deferred
And that's
to
it.
that.
And that's it. They force a deferral now, and everybody thought this deferral was a real deferral. It was not
Was not.
deferral. It was an opportunity for the banks to double dip.
They almost-
It was the banks that double
They
dipped.
almost catch me. Is I went and checked on my
I
account
went
online.
and asked certain credit union and
And-
make real noise and tell them, listen, I want back my money.
Yeah.
I didn't tell her to give me no
No deferral.
No deferral.
I went and I realized, I said, but wait now. But how come a loan payment didn't pull this month? Because it's not at the end a loan, eh? And I realized, they didn't pull, but they don't mess with that. So I called the bank. So I said, listen, all in all, I missed my loan payment. Or they didn't pull the money. Oh, no, we defer the payment. I said, on
whose
whose
instruction?
authority? On whose
Yeah.
instruction?
Yeah.
No, well, we thought that would be an option.
No, you
I said,
can't
you
think-
thought? I
So-
said, no,
somebody
pull the
wrote-
money. I don't want no
because
deferral.
I tell people.
I don't want no deferral.
Credit unions, most credit unions, not all, because I'm in two credit unions and they operate on two different interest regimes.
Right.
But one of them, most credit unions operate on 1% on the reducing balance.
Yeah.
So it means if you have $100,000, your loan will be 1%, which is $1,000. The first installment.
Right.
The second installment, if you pay it, will be $900, right?
Right.
Now, if you defer my loan for 3 months, for 6 months, for 8 months, it means, and I still have to pay my interest. It means I'm paying that $900
Anyway,
Yeah.
right? And that's
That's-
the wickedness.
I say
in
to
the whole
you,
thing.
Yeah.
that's who double dipped
And they
in the
get away with it.
pandemic.
And they
It
get
is
away
the
with it.
banks that double
So
dipped.
I went to my credit union, Eastern Credit Union. I said, listen,
You
I
still
didn't
with
tell her
Eastern,
that.
man? You still with
I
Eastern?
know where I can. Well, I with them I still, but I close off my loan.
I find they looking little. I little skeptical about them these days.
What I'm
but go
saying
ahead.
is, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I didn't ask me that.
And this is the point.
Exactly. They
Well, you
didn't
see,
ask
this is
you.
the point. When your prime minister says we spend the road money on public health to save lives,
Where?
I want to applaud you. But then I remember I was in the heart of the thing. When Mascara Girl was counting down, 82%, 87%, 90%,
ICU beds.
93%,
Oh, gosh.
ICU beds.
It almost the capacity.
People was panicking because people thinking that 1.4 million people in this country. So we have thousands of beds. So I went and do some research to find out we have 52 beds.
And
in
this is the thing,
whole
Phillip.
country. Wait, I want to finish this point because they
Yeah.
need to hear it. We have 52 beds. So for the whole country. So when she beating up herself, and I did a video outside the Gene Pay complex where they set up these tents
Yeah.
because it was supposed to be
And that
this-
was donated, eh?
But we never used
Go ahead.
because they didn't bring any extra ICU beds.
Yeah.
It was all stunt.
Yeah.
We still only had that we paid for 52, one wasn't functional. So when I poured that video and that went viral, Keith Rowley coming in, one of his things, he say, ICU beds, you can't buy it in Price Mart. You have to have trained nurses and trained thing. And the video.
So then they
run
didn't
up-
hire anybody?
So the
Wait,
20 million.
wait. And then they announce, she announced, that I think they buy 40 more overnight.
So let me
But
ask you
last
something,
week,
Phil.
your leader said you can't just buy ICU beds.
ICU, you gotta have
because you
special,
gotta
yeah.
train people.
Train
and
people.
so who
Philip,
train them?
here what happened. So somewhere they inputted that the roads won't fix because they spend the money on the
To
COVID,
save
right?
lives. That's what
Let me
they
answer
said.
something. So we didn't hire no new
We
people.
did not open any new hospitals. We didn't build no new wards.
Yeah,
we didn't
no
hire
staff.
no new people. We didn't buy no new equipment.
So the 20
there were no new ambulances.
The
Nothing.
billions of dollars that you usually
Wait.
spend on roads.
Wait.
Yeah.
Where did that go?
Manning Jr. and Imbert said the government pressed a further $5 billion into public health. So I've been asking then, was that $5 billion for? If you have the original $5 billion that you had for 2020, 21, and 2021, 22, that you did not spend because they shut down elective surgeries. Remember this?
Yeah, yeah.
They call the thing a parallel health sector.
No, you're going to increase. They're taking that to increase the health workers pay, I think.
We will get
Give
to
them more
that.
money.
We commented
We
that.
comment on that.
But they call what we got a parallel health sector.
Yeah, a parallel healthcare
As
system,
if
yeah.
It's
you had 400 beds before,
Everybody-
now you have
Now you have
800.
eight, yeah.
You have 800. But no,
It wasn't
they
that.
run a line through the 400.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
they say these
So you have
200.
2 by 2.
So it's not
No,
a
but
parallel.
they had some parallel. They had some up Waterfield with a whole set of tents. They had the stadium. That
Some
was
little-
parallel.
some little-
Those are not, that is not a healthcare system.
Like from
I want to
the vaccination
quote,
side.
I want
That was
to quote,
vaccination sites. So
Yeah.
who's making money from them tents?
next story.
Them
Hey,
tents was like
stick
$1 million
your
guess
a
as
year.
good as mine.
$1 million a
But-
day.
but-
or
David
$12
Welch,
tent or-
take some notes. Take some notes. Hey, the reason
No, I
y'all-
just asking.
The reason you all hear us talking to David Welch direct this week, his boss Satish Ramsaran
Is
is
not
down. He had some fast food and he bought it from a company that sounded like JFD.
Oh, it wasn't glamour. It wasn't glamour.
Well, you never picture the
Some fried chicken.
you never picture the Gympia complex tents that they donated. I would have loved to show that.
The United-
Is that real?
Who was renting them
The America
The United States
donated that.
No, no, no.
the Army, the Navy, the United States
Navy.
Marines or something.
But here I want to find out.
It was
Here I wanna
supposed to
find
be
out.
a- it was
From
supposed
both
to
of
be a
you.
Marine
From
hospital.
you
What
guys.
one up
Waterfield.
Waterfield? Who was renting them tent from?
Waterfield boy, I don't know that.
Boss,
Yeah, that one
boss,
was
them fellas.
The last tent I know
Them
we was
fellas
renting
who
was
rented
90-something
the tents
thousand
to
was the
the
bill.
PNM,
That's somewhere in
build
Moncton. Remember that
houses
tent?
for PNM. And when you see you get a government that is not the UNC and the PNM in office, so we can really crack open where this country
are
money
start
went,
getting locked up in
people
this
are to make
place,
jail.
because there's the thing.
People are to make jail.
And there's the thing.
You cannot put UNC to look after PNM and PNM to look after UNC. Them is two sides
Two
of
are
the
the
same
same
cancer.
coin. But
Peace
there's a
and
point,
apple,
there's a
peace and apple.
point. There's the thing. Rohan Sinanan could come and remove the barrels, although those barrels could possibly save lives. Those barrels that you put on, if the government was to give out a contract to put that down,
That'll be some millions.
John Public would not know, really and truly, the majority of us, I'm going to say us, the majority of people in the country wouldn't mark how much it costs. So they could say it costs $5 million to put on these simple barrels.
But it's saving lives.
But it's saving lives. But you know it could cost way less than that. Nobody holds them accountable for the money that they spend. The Prime Minister could stand up on a platform and just like that, easy peasy, we acknowledge that the roads in Trinidad and Tobago bad, you know. But we spend the money saving your lives
So,
in
so
2020 for the
so
pandemic.
come back to this.
How much money?
Brother.
What was it spent on? Where the money gone? What we have to show for it?
Ready for them.
You understand what I'm saying?
Ready for them. You see,
the
that
minister,
easy
hold
to
on. The Minister of Finance could come and say, we give out 10,000 salary relief grants. We give out X amount to the tune of X amount of billions of dollars. And nobody quit. They just throw numbers at you with no accountability.
That easy for
and
figures.
everybody just sit down and
A whole set of PNM people.
and clapping and
They're like
laughing
sheep, they're
and
like
getting
sheep.
kicks.
They're
And,
like
the, and,
sheep.
and the
They're
rest of
just
people,
clapping.
no, but not just the PNM people, because the rest of people
Wait,
who
let
not concerned,
let me give some
going about
information.
the daily
Let me-
business
let
and
me-
they don't even know.
are ready for them. You
But the
see,
suffering-
I hope and
the
pray
suffering as a
that
result
we
of
can
that.
end up in a commission of inquiry into what they did with that. Hear this. The World Bank approved US $20 million for the Trinidad and Tobago COVID-19 Emergency Response Project, Pandemic
Oh,
and
look at
Strength
here.
National
Yeah.
System.
Look at any complex. That's what they donated.
No, wait,
Those are the
besides
tents that
that,
they donated,
besides
yeah.
that, the World
Well done,
Bank,
Welch.
the World Bank gave us $20 million. Then, CAF, Development Bank of Latin America,
Right.
approved a US $50 million loan to mitigate the COVID health crisis in Trinidad and Tobago.
Loan,
So
eh?
that is...
That's about $500 million.
One is a grant.
Brother
One is
man.
a loan.
Yeah, man. All I say to
Yeah,
you
pay
is
back
this.
that.
How much you take from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund?
And that's the $5 billion.
How much you draw down from
That's
that?
the $5 billion that Manning and Imber talk about.
Right.
But then they
So-
take but then they come and say they take the road money and put there too.
But this is the point.
That one money they already take and put it
No, but
now,
this is the
confused.
point.
They add it up now.
But this is the point, and there is
It's about
nothing-
10 billion.
There are no systems. Listen, do you know that the police chief,
So what's the budget of the pandemic? What the pandemic cost?
Nobody knows. They just,
Plenty.
this is the thing. We reach to the point where people just
We must say vaccine
say
cost
things, these
$20.
politicians just saying things,
We didn't increase
calling
the
numbers,
salary.
say they do this with these numbers that they call it, and everybody just shopping it and going on with their life.
Really from the PN, from the UNC?
Watch
the
Edis,
same UNC
Edis.
that the supporters
Edis.
hate.
Uvalde-
How different are they?
Uvalde-
6 or 1.5 dozen. Yeah,
Uvalde
right.
School's police chief Pete Dondo fired over botched response to shooting that killed 19 students and 2 teachers. Immediately.
Immediately.
Your job, this is how they do it in the real world. Your job, you were supposed to be prepared on the heels of things like Columbine and the rest of the things. We expect you to know.
Yeah.
We expect you in your role to say, okay, there is a new world order. Let's say you is the Minister of Works and Transport, you Minister of Public Utilities, whoever responsible for drainage. Let us say it is not enough to send your sycophants to tell us, well, everywhere flooded. Okay. If there is increased rainfall for any reason, your models have to change to reflect that. We cannot live like goldfish. We can't pretend, oh, look, rain falling.
Right.
Oh, look, it flooding.
Look, let
can't live so.
We sing the same song.
let me just
You can't live so.
let me just poke something here, because I've been making noise about this for weeks, since rainy season started. There are a lot of things that you cannot predict. Here,
Where you could predict.
you could predict
Oh,
dry
yeah.
season and rainy season. So you know exactly when rainy season
When
started.
going and flood.
Right. Rohan Sinanan said in the first week of the rainy season, we have been preparing for the rainy season since January. And this is what I say, politicians just say things and everybody just, okay. We conducted 144 projects at a cost of $50 million. Put a $50 million tag to 144 projects. Where? Which projects? So, okay, well, tell me where now. So, if I see Mausika flood out, I know, Baba, wait now. He say they do a project in Mausika, so how Mausika go flood out? He didn't say where. You understand what I'm saying? So, how we know what the 50 million spent on? How we know we get value for money?
Yeah, yeah.
But they just saying these things.
But that is the point, and that is the point.
Well,
you
you
live
know.
in a country where your commissioner of police could unleash the police service to kill a man. Or at least, well, I said to kill him, but to bring him in dead or alive. Because he killed Gilks, or Jilks, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Remember?
Jilks.
In Rich Plain.
Yeah, Jilks.
Trinidad know that when the commissioner put out the kind of talk he put out that morning, they declare war on we.
Yeah.
We going on war back. War is not you give me cotton candy and I give you some cotton candy.
Yeah.
War is bullets for bullets. They was going for that man. They kicked down the people, masked all kind of thing. Remember?
I remember, yes.
And it took Trinidad and Tobago to side with a man that is known to the police. It's not like this guy is any church altar boy.
Yeah.
But in this instance, the commissioner was wrong.
Yeah.
And it turns out police officers were arrested for murder of this man.
And the commissioner of police was
Just now,
arrested.
not manslaughter,
this
not a
commissioner
manslaughter is an
interviews.
accidental killing.
Accidental, yeah.
Murder is deliberate.
Yep.
They've arrested 2 police officers for murdering Jilks or
Yeah.
Gilks, however you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
My point
Gilks,
to
yeah.
you is
I thought I was the only person with that problem, you know.
how
When I say guilt, I say, wait, no, is Jilks or guilt?
How is McDonald Jacob still in office? You cannot tell me that your police officers misled you.
Because he
your
said have
job,
patience.
you are the commissioner of police. Your job is to know.
Yeah.
Your job is to make sure you don't unleash hell. You don't send government boots up in Rich Plain.
Facts and data.
That turn over people
But one of the
religious.
critical thing, let me tell you something. Again, back to the road just now. One of the critical flaw we have in our policing system in Trinidad, I won't talk about the other countries and them. We have one person alone responsible for crime, you know. All crime, you know. There's a level of madness, you know.
Was that the commissioner?
One commissioner of police responsible for all crime. That report to, and somebody we don't talk about it, he report to the police service commissioner and nobody don't. Well, somebody call on them.
Selvon, you see how easy it was for the police service commission to be dismantled.
Exactly.
So it is just, you're playing with titles.
Window dressing.
It was
Playing
just
with
as-
titles.
window
I
dressing.
appoint the president appoints what I tell you.
This-
Right.
If you don't like that, I remove you.
Dismantling
Game of
them.
Thrones,
and
Game of
dismantling
Thrones.
them.
Game of Thrones.
Dismantling them was
What I'm
as
saying-
easy as dismantling the integrity commission. Is that any
So
commission?
the real head
Only
one
one
show.
post. Is the prime minister?
Is the prime minister?
No.
He's the real. These are real dictatorship on this.
Yeah.
This system is
The buck really stops here.
Stop, just sir.
This version of Westminster is dictatorship.
We
on.
mad.
This is crazy. This is not
We
Westminster.
mad, Philip. Let me tell you something. So, we have a group of people in Ministry of Works that do a highway square. against a roundabout, no lights, nothing like that. Phillip put on some lights. Yeah? And I see nobody in Ministry work there for yet, you know. Me see nobody in Ministry works, all I see they take there and everything will go on as normal.
No, well, Phillip put on some lights and
No,
maybe
but-
somebody make a call last night and say, hey, you better go and remove them lights, you know.
I's minister, just I's minister, the fact that he had to go and put on lights there to save people's life, then half all you're going home, you know. That is the response
Stephan, I want to
from
say,
a responsible
Stephan,
government.
I want to say this, and
Do you
I want to say this.
There is one. No more- yeah.
Stephan, I want to say this on camera. I want to say this clear. I want my lips to match the tone coming out my mouth. The next person that dies at that roundabout, Rohan Sinanan, would be guilty of premeditated murder. This is no longer accidents. There is an obstacle to a highway that requires people be alerted to the obstacle. You didn't do it, we did it. You went and removed. It is like the commission of inquiry they're going to have right now into the 4 divers that died in Paria. There were people who were willing to go down in that pipe and pull those people out. You send Coast Guard with guns and block them from going in the pipe. You are guilty of murder. I want to say this government is guilty of murder. Murder. And it is time we had a country where the police commissioner isn't beholden to a police service commission that is appointed by the prime minister, because the police commissioner should be able to go and arrest the prime minister.
And that's why I agreed.
That's how it's supposed to be.
That's why I agreed with Gary Griffith when he in his response to the prime minister saying that he was the greatest mistake he made was to appoint him, because Gary Griffith made a salient point, and that is, when you stop having a prime minister who are able to say, give me resources only to deal with my opponents, then I mean this don't happen.
I'm a hired gun.
Yeah, this don't happen in real democracy.
I am not a commissioner of police.
Where
I'm a
there
hired
real
gun.
separation of powers and that kind of thing.
He wanted Gary to be a hired gun.
So I have to agree with Gary. And I have to agree with you who said that, listen, the real head honcho here is the Prime Minister.
Look at this. Do
Nothing
you
happens
know
without the
that
Prime
Gary
Minister.
Griffith had to fight when he was commissioner of police to move the organization of corruption, the corruption investigating, what's called OCNU, I think that's it, the anti-corruption squad, from under the Attorney General. He wasn't answering to the commissioner of police. The anti-corruption squad of the police service was removed from the police service and answerable to an attorney general. And the anti-corruption squad have one work: to watch the government. Because it's the government that could engage in corruption.
Yeah.
So if you put the anti-corruption squad to answer to the people who could be corrupt,
We're wasting time.
Yeah.
Wasting time.
Goes nowhere.
Gary Griffith moved them back under the police. Wait. So I want to say this. Gary moved them back under
biggest
the police
mistake?
and started investigations. Keith Rowley, no. But he is fostering some ill feelings against Gary.
But he had
this has
influence
been-
against the wrong man. If we follow the news correct.
This has been coming a long time. And I want you to hear me. Keith Rowley fostered this against Gary. And DSS. And all of that that went on. When you look and you listen and you see and you pay attention, but they want you to frame it in reference of Rowley hit back Anil, because Anil attacked your wife. So you tell Anil I ain't sent to kill nobody. Those are not the important issues.
Did Anil,
I don't care if Sharon Rowley...
Anil can hold and send somebody to kill the man? I don't know.
Stephen Matteson, I don't care if Sharon Rowley screwing the street. I don't care. Sharon could be screwing the neighborhood. I don't care what's Kamala's husband name? Garfield, Gary, Daniel,
Pipe, something level, yeah.
Wherever he did.
Yeah, but-
I don't
yeah,
care what he did on his free time. I don't care about these things.
Pipe man, yeah.
I care about the fact that
That's a
Trinidad's economy is so badly broken. People don't understand how badly broken this economy is. The average person cannot afford to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are creating criminals. A lot of these people that the police are arresting as first-time offenders are people who are committing crime to survive. Let's
Yeah.
be real. Those numbers you read, they are tragic.
Yeah, that's it's frightening.
Yeah.
Because you know what that means? That means we already don't have control of the criminal elements and the current crime situation. And when you look at numbers like this, you know it's going to get worse. Because more and more people out of work.
So explain.
More and more people don't have.
Explain McDonald Jacob.
No, they're blaming all of that on
Explain
the
McDonald
pandemic.
Jacob agreeing with Karen Eunice Teixeira when he said, and he agreed with this boy, who is this? Vernon, you know we live, eh? Who is this guy? The head of God, David Mohammed.
Uh-huh.
David Mohammed, when he stand up for the scrap iron
dealers, yeah.
he spoke about the drug dealers. He said, don't stop the scrap iron dealers for 6 months. Stop the drug dealers. So he is speaking as somebody with information that there actually is drug dealers. And he's told us, McDonald Jacobs told the country how the guns come into the country.
But
he said where it passed, what country it coming from. He said coming through and his customs and his immigration. If you know all of that.
Legal ports.
Yeah, I'm always amazed of
How
that.
do you know?
They come and they say how much gang leaders they have, how much
they are
gangs.
arresting nobody?
But how come you know all of that? And them thing illegal.
You made the joke about the little fella who went to the post office with his mother and they see the pictures of all the wanted people. And he asked, who are those? And she said, those are the people police looking for. He said, why didn't just keep them when they took their picture? He said, it makes sense. it makes sense.
I'm trying to find the report you spoke about, you know.
Boss man.
Did you read that report?
Boss man, you see what he just asked? What he just asked. When the Prime Minister said 37,000 illegal guns in 2017, I never forgot. Every now and then, you see a picture of some gun that they catch that looked like it was around since Columbus. Where the 37,000 illegal guns? If no new guns came in the country, that is more guns than there are police and army and coast guard combined.
But how does know how much guns it have? Somebody counting it?
Well, what is
That's
what? No, what they may
Who
be
doing the stock check?
No,
Who doing the stock check?
what they may be doing, they may be checking ballistic reports of guns that was used. So a gun was fired.
37,000 crime?
Well, I'm thinking they probably found
So
they got ballistic
37,000
reports
different people get
from
shot?
37,000 different guns. That is not accounted for, so they know that it's
They were
37,000
told, they were told
I'm
information.
thinking.
They gerrymander information. They use this to fool the population, to keep all of us off balance.
Let me tell you, we are a society that like rumor and bacchanal thing. And politicians feed on rumor and
Exactly.
bacchanal. No way to have no facts, no statistics, no how you come up with that, no
No, but-
evaluation. We like the
Sir,
hoorah.
That's
Let
how
us
the winning
depend on
election.
rum shop
say-
talk.
That's how the winning
Rum
election.
shop talk run the country.
That's how the winning election.
Hey, no.
That's how the winning election.
So they
Bullshit
say,
talk.
okay, so we take the road money and put in for
In.
COVID.
That good enough
How
for them?
much? I want to know how much.
Boss
how much
man,
COVID
before,
cost
but
me.
before
Did-
you,
I will sit down and analyze all of that.
you have
I know you like to read from a.
You go
Let me
down.
just read from an article. Olip, the same video that David Mohammed spoke about, the article.
Scrap
You
iron.
ask how did us know, right? And you
Yeah.
ask how we do it correct. This is why he mentioned it. It was an article in the Guardian.
Wait, before you say something, I want to reserve the right
Uh-huh.
to respond to you immediately after, because I want you to look and notice that they have some geographical places
Yes!
that left out some.
Yes! So under the headline was the $1 million business of crime. Police intelligence report names Big Fish.
Name
I will repeat that. Police intelligence report names Big Fish. Mark Bassant is the man who do the story. So that's close to 40 prominent businessmen from South, Central, and East Trinidad.
None from North.
None from the north or the
Of
west.
your clean.
Who are linked to
Scrub.
who are linked to major drug and human traffickers,
None in
gun
Bayshore.
runners, gang leaders,
None
and
in
murderers.
Westmoreland.
Fueling the multi-million dollar criminal enterprise
Yeah,
in
the
this
question
country
Bassant
have
is
been
secretary
named
now.
in a police intelligence report. Named, you know.
Stephan, none in Goodwood Park,
No.
none in Bayshore, none in Westmoreland,
No. You're
none in Fairways, none in Sinclair,
None.
Richmond. Them 5 areas I just
Absolutely
talked
none.
there is 50% of the value of all the house in the whole country.
Yeah.
Them, and you saying to me,
nothing
yes,
happening.
You telling me
Yes.
nobody in the vicinity of Wildflower Park? Nobody?
everything east of the White Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Up here clean.
Yeah.
And I want to say, I am proud that I live in the West.
Yes, boy.
Because the West is a safe,
It's
clean,
safe, clean,
nice.
law-abiding citizens.
They make-
Upstanding.
Where are the names that they named in that thing?
No, they didn't name names, you know.
No, the Guardian
The
didn't.
Guardian didn't name names.
Karen Eunice,
But where's the
sheriff-
report?
But Karen Eunice, the
This is
sheriff-
2019.
Karen Eunice, the sheriff, said,
So all the people are locked up yet?
Where the report gone?
where the guns they hold
Where
the
the
South
report gone?
businessman with his arsenal? Where does guns? Where the guns and the sex toys they hold Hafiz Karamat with? Hafiz dead and gone, that case still running.
Who get locked up for the... Anybody ever get locked up for the juice? The juice things?
The
With the drugs?
The SMJ.
Which one, Norfolk, Virginia?
Well,
Or Canada? Which one of them? Which one of them? I read a
That-
magistrate.
I was sent
I
Stephen
think
this
it's York
article, you can
Suhan
take a read of
said
it.
that how come you could have a whole case about a $600 million fine of drugs in Monas and you
Yeah.
ain't talk to the property owner yet. These
Yeah.
Where
things
Monas
are-
is in Central?
The gardener get locked up.
Brother man,
Yeah,
you know who
lock up for
make
that.
you know who make life in jail? A set of little fishermen from John Street in
Yeah.
Kukurit, underneath where there's flood.
Yeah.
Where I went and did that video. There's a little street up there. Some little fellas who literally on the hustle, them looking, them driving a boat, them don't care what you bringing, where you're moving. Them fellas, them living in cardboard.
Yep.
Them living in cardboard. You've created a country where you could have people so desperate to survive, they will take that chance. You are responsible.
Yeah.
You as government are responsible. You are responsible that people, I have people whole days be blowing up my phone, Mr. Phillip. We can't afford books, we can't afford food, we can't afford rent, we can't afford it. They cut
That's
the light.
normal thing in more than
And let me tell you
50% of the
something,
people.
as we talk about things like that, you really have to admire. I just admire these fellas, eh? You see the fellas that wiping people windscreen by Westmoreland traffic lights?
The traffic warden and that.
The traffic warden?
Those are the traffic ones
Well,
in
those are,
Westport. When current go.
The Kokori traffic wardens. Those guys, right? If you're profiling people and that kind of thing, right? They could be doing several different wrong things based on the communities they come from. But you had to admire them. Because every day they be out there. Every day they making
The
hustle.
boy who started that hustle is the man. The boy who started that hustle is the man that they found burned to death in Maraba.
Seriously?
That little boy who started that, his name was Akko.
Uh-huh.
Kukurit. Akko, you know they say somebody have a face like a cherub? Those little angels you see with like baby Cupid? He had that face, and Akko had that personality that everybody he meet from a young age. Akko was the first one that would be outside there selling mango on a sheet of plywood by Westmorelands, by West Mall. Long before there was a Columbus Circle, long before there was anything for Super Farm and any of that bacchanal there, because I know West Mall for a long time. Akko start outside there on a Westmoreland's hustle where he have that look that appeals to guilt.
Compassion.
He appeals to guilt.
The guilt.
You see this little black child out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
He look harmless. I can bring him in my house. I can let him wash down the dog shit. And I can pay him my $10. And I go feel good. And I say I help the world. That's Trinidad, eh? We pretend it's not.
Yeah.
And as I ask people all the time, them little boys by Kukurit wiping your window, at some point, they are going to be grown-ass men. And you don't want to look and play with them and joke with them and have them wipe your window, and you're not picking them up and bringing them home to wash down the dog shit. Where are they going to go?
Yeah.
Akko end up in some kind of wrongdoing of some sort and get
And
burned.
you get burned up. Yeah.
They light him on fire. And this is our reality. People don't study where these things go. The second fella, he and Akko used to do, he get killed in St. James. I know these boys.
So much crime.
There is nobody in the government or the opposition that has any reason to care about them. So they're in a black hole. They're trapped.
Yeah.
There is nowhere for them to go.
Then we pull back. Some 7-year-old girl in a house with the mother killed the
God.
child.
Yeah, strangle the
Listen,
child to
listen.
death, yeah.
I think the
What-
government
listen,
feel that
listen, when I
that
started
family.
watching the news and they say, well, they're going to the house, I doubt that was the house, you know. That a female
Yeah.
mother and daughter living in.
I
Ask
said the
the
child-
question. No, the question I asked, we are no social development in Trinidad. We are no community development. We are no village council.
Come back to
we are-
analytics and data gathering.
We are
Boss-
nobody.
Boss,
what
the
we doing?
Child Protection Unit of the police service is underfunded, undersourced, they have under material. It is one group. They're in Maraval. They're moving them to St. Clair. They did a fancy $50 million police station. They open it. They announce it. They talk plenty shit for you, and it's still closed.
And it's still closed.
And you
It
see,
closed today.
You see,
So I don't know where the Child Protection Unit operating today. So it hard to hit them a lash.
You see-
The Child Protection Unit failed. But it hard to hit the Child Protection Unit a lash because they don't have the resources to do the job.
you raise a real important point there, because when we talk about the criminal justice system and the judiciary as the fault of escalating crime and that kind of thing, or whoever, the fault of escalating crime is not one unit, it's a series of systematic failures in the
Yes,
system
yes.
that causing
Yeah,
that,
yep.
right?
Yeah.
Failures in the system created by government and the ineptness to do certain things or
Or
to
policies.
create
You
certain
think-
things is the reason why we have so
You
much
think
crime.
Simon the Nobrega,
Because crime
Yeah.
begins
you
with
think
all
the
them little
member
social
of
development,
Parliament for
people,
Diego Martin
data.
Central, Mr. Man, you think the member of Parliament for Diego Martin Central, Simon the Nobrega, could walk in Harding Place, Cocorite?
Nah.
You think so? You think he know what exists?
They don't even know. They don't
You
even
think-
know. They don't even know.
No, but
they
he's
don't
the
even
member
know.
of Parliament.
They
You
don't
think he know what's going on in Waterhole?
Nah.
That's where them little boys come from. That's where they come from to wipe your window. There's police units from St. James Police that on permanent detail in Cocorate.
Yeah, yeah.
Permanent
That's true.
detail.
That's true.
As talk to people
Yeah,
on the
that's
ground.
true.
The information I'm giving you is the ground.
Yeah.
You think that their member, you just said, is a complete system failure. When you look at these people, when you hear Donna Cox talk, wherever she come from, she ain't there now. She live in the Range Rover life.
Yeah, yeah. yeah.
She parking by, she don't even go by peppercorns, which is bourgeoisie. But peppercorns have a peppercorns plus in Maraval. If you ain't know, it's for certain peeps.
Right.
And she shopping there. Donna Cox is clueless and out of touch with what's going on.
Yeah.
Listen. It's
You saw the
mul-
offer yesterday? You saw the headline? They shut down the whole scrap iron, as you talking about Donna Cox. Shut down the whole scrap iron industry, the whole sector. About 20,000 people will be affected, right? Either directly or indirectly. And yesterday I saw a headline in The Guardian, Donna Cox saying that scrap iron workers could apply for grants. That is the solution. You could apply for a grant. So if you're in the scrap iron industry, a sector shut down for 6 months, you could. Well, anybody on the, I mean,
That's not-
that anybody should just go and apply for grants.
That's not for them. That's for the public to say, well, all
Somebody-
you be,
there's
that's
somebody-
the public say, why all you marching? I hear the government say, come for
Come for
grants.
grants.
So it
Like to
is,
create dependency syndrome to more dependency
is to
syndrome to
lie.
You could get any of them grants.
we are reaching
You could
there.
get any of them
Salmon,
grants.
that
There's
is
no
to
grant.
create a false sense of outrage against them. Because you're supposed to say, well, the government
By the sycophants. By the sycophants.
No,
So
but-
the sycophants will hear that and they'll say,
No,
Yeah, but look at them a grant.
Look
Look at
at the
them
general
a
public
grant.
doing all of this.
The general public will be
Nonsense.
led to believe that the government is doing something about the problem.
Yeah.
But the government is doing nothing about the
Because there's
problem.
no grant.
And we can't skirt around the issue no more. The people who doing the scrap iron, listen, you can't, if you kill all the vultures in the sky, get accustomed to living with dead dog and dead cat. Okay? If you kill all the sharks in the sea, get accustomed to the sea smelling stink. You need scavengers. You need your society.
Every society needs.
It's a
scavengers.
function
Yeah,
of society.
yeah.
If you are consuming, there is going to be waste.
Yes.
And you need people
Somebody
dealing with
remove
the
it.
waste. Somebody
No.
have to get their hands dirty.
When-
Just so. Somebody have to get their hands dirty and sort the waste. I'm not telling you that them fellas and go thief a manhole cover and thief somebody's scaffolding. These are not St. Mary's College boys that become scrap iron dealers.
Right, because
this is not holy name convent girls.
Ferguson, when I spoke to Ferguson, I interviewed Ferguson last week Friday. A lot of the guys that work in that field is men who now come out of jail. A lot of the fellas, they hire them because they can't get work elsewhere. Right? Which is not a bad thing. Maybe they're genuinely looking for work. Now I told him, well, I will bet that if a dealer comes forward and say, hey, we can take down these copper lines, although it's illegal, the men that now come out of jail more likely to step forward and say, yeah, boss, sign that, than people who never commit a crime.
I'm not endorsing anything.
Now hold on. Now I'm saying, they had a meeting with the government, right? And they proposed a ban, a 3-month ban of the export of copper. That's what they proposed, the Scrap Iron Association. The government decided to shut down the entire
Now, let me ask you one
scrap
thing.
iron
Right?
sector.
Let me ask you one thing.
Because you see, they will call you to have
they say-
meetings with you and they don't have the plan.
So they say if copper is the problem
Stephan,
and we have rogue people going around
Stephan,
cutting down the lines,
if you can't
ban that.
if you cannot control the export of bulk metal, that's why we have all this cocaine and guns in the country. If you can't watch something exporting bulk metal, I tell people, thieving cable is not an easy thing to hide. All of a sudden, like somebody say, all right, all ready? Go and cut down cable in the country. All of a sudden that become a thing.
Yeah,
right, because we
they-
never
they-
had, and this is
all
the
of
point.
a sudden
This
that
is
become
the point.
a
That's
thing.
coming.
Why?
We
Why?
never had that problem before
Where did it-
until recently.
Where did it come from?
It was so prevalent.
No,
Boss man, we drive in the whole country. I have been, in the past month, I have been to Maruga, St. Madeleine, Cashew Gardens, Gandhi Village. I have been all over this country. And I tell you one thing that is common in this whole country. Cables hanging because people cut
Yeah.
copper.
Now hear what's going on.
Listen. This copper situation of cutting off TSCT copper, this started over maybe about 9 or 10 years ago.
9 or 10 years ago.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, look at Welsh now. Watch his screen.
And you know
You're
what
walking now,
Yes.
Welch.
Just now. You know what curb that Welch on the pole?
No, neither Welch on the pole. Like, but you get that. You find that picture.
Just now. You know when this scourge and we keep a clamp on it. You know how the clamp was put on it?
Yeah.
They had allied security to monitor all the cables in Trinidad.
Okay.
You were securing the cables.
Allied
security guards.
security
Was
monitoring
securing them?
all them cables to make sure people are cut and interfere with the cables and so forth. So
That GPS on them.
they have alarms on them and so forth. So it was monitored for years. You know when this thing started to rise now? When Allied stopped
The
monitoring.
contract done. Somebody got the contract.
Now they give our next.
But then this is planned.
No, but
Wait,
Stephan,
this is
wait.
deliberate.
But even if he say that, and I give him the
But this is
benefit,
the song in deliberate.
even if he say that and I give him the benefit of the doubt, hear this. All of a sudden, word spread, Allied lost the contract, free sheet on cable.
Well,
It
that
bec-
you like it.
boss man,
Because
something
suddenly
else.
no more patrol
Something
taking
else.
place.
Something
because
else.
I had to
He
get-
is saying,
Yeah.
if you understand what he's saying,
Yeah.
they have something inside of this. Like a decision was made. Cancel the contract, free the boys, let me get the cup out. Somewhere a decision was made for this to be so pervasive so quickly. This
Because
is a whole
I
industry
ne-
was spawned.
I never
People who willing to climb cable
because
and cut.
why it is because okay.
Because people
All
never
the
used to
time,
do that.
listen,
You never used
never
to see them doing it.
before.
You never used to notice it
It's
so.
after the contract stopped and Allied stopped monitoring these
Yeah.
cable. I see people going
hear
mad.
what people tell them.
Well, listen. Let me.
I'm just speaking facts. You know.
Allow me.
Yeah.
You was making a point earlier about how easy it is to solve this problem. I am thinking here, if you are exporting bulk copper, it must pass some way.
Exactly.
So here what? Why don't you have a system where you seize it? So it becomes less an incentive to go and cut it.
But that's
So
the
once
point.
it exported,
Why is that
the
not
man who
being done?
exporting it losing money Because you're seasonist.
Stephen Matheson.
When
Stephen
we went
Matheson.
6 months, we shut down the
Stephen, wait,
industry.
Stephen Matheson is saying
They have nothing to do.
that the government is incompetent. I want to say to you, I agree.
Well, shut it down
You
for 6 months,
cannot
demonstrate
boss
that.
man, you talking truckloads of metal, plural. Truckloads. You cannot be putting 20-foot container on people's ship without them knowing what in the container.
exactly.
In a post 9/11 world, you can't just load up a nuclear bomb in a 20-foot container and sail it to America. They want to know what's in it.
Go in that, yeah.
It's easy to check.
Yeah.
When
So-
you X-ray that container,
Because
you
I want to
said,
know.
you said it's washing machines.
So-
but it's not washing machines, it's copper.
No, but after the
Season.
6 months, what next? Just no. After the 6 months, what next?
Boss man, that 6
What we gonna
months
do?
ban is our next one of those
Yen-
smoke and mirrors nonsense.
Yeah, Ben.
You don't have to shut down the entire industry
fix
if you
one
want to
copper.
stop them with copper.
And that's what Ferguson was saying. They proposed to
then-
ban the sale and
so then-
export of
so-
copper
so-
for 3
so-
months
so Stephen-
until we can
Stephan,
figure out who doing this.
Stephan, so are you saying
Until the
these are
police
the
are out?
options? These are the only options that are available to you. One,
Let's not forget, it's a big foreign, is a significant foreign exchange unit too, but go
this
ahead.
is the two options available to you.
They own a
One,
significant amount of foreign
the
exchange.
government is incompetent and stupid. Or two, somebody else have their eye
On the
on
industry.
the scrap iron industry.
How to be?
And what is, you know, what is nice?
Could have
you know,
generated millions of
you know,
dollars.
you know, there are
In
persons,
us.
there
In
are
us
people
money.
there are people who will say, who would listen to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who will say things like, all we do here is criticize the government and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But if you really could think, if you listen to the discussion, the narrative, the dialogue, you would understand that the solutions are in our
our
embedded
hands.
in the dialogue.
Embedded in the
Giving
dialogue.
you the solutions in everything we say. We
Yeah.
giving you the
Stephen
solutions.
Matheson, if you tell me they're smuggling diamonds, I say, all right, that's hard to find. Even cocaine, you can hide it. But bulk metal,
Yeah.
you,
Bulk copper too.
but bulk metal.
You know what's the comedy to me? The biggest comedy over the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks? Remember, somebody went into a Ministry of Works site and steal some
Karen.
big iron beams.
You need a truck for that.
But I want to know how they could go into the yard, load it up on wherever they load it up
Yeah,
on,
truck with higher.
drive it out,
Nobody has see.
and nobody will see.
Boss man, dismantling steel beam.
You will see the picture of the beams.
Dismantling steel beam.
Well, you could find the beams.
And he talking.
The beams are still from the Ministry of Works.
Well,
The Prime Minister,
anything.
the
But
Prime
watch me.
Minister, I heard
You
the Prime
think-
Minister in a clip saying something like, well, the police service is already overburdened. Are you asking us to put a policeman by every lamppost? That's a
Oh,
dumb, that's a real dumb. I mean, that's a real
I'm
dumb
challenged- I'm
analogy.
challenged
Let us
by
say,
It's very dumb.
Let us
because-
welcome Esther Prince to the rum shop.
Welcome, Esther. You walk around?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a real dumb analogy.
All right.
Watch me say,
Because
I
Stephan
want
was
this.
just saying,
the man
want
find
this.
me.
I want this.
Mr. Man, watch me.
find
Have
the
some
bill.
respect for Pastor Esther Prince right?
Pastor.
Don't talk. So have some discipline.
So you have the chaser.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
have that. I have the chaser.
Listen, the truth of the matter, and you cannot escape this. All of these problems that you are raising share a common bed. It is either the government is incompetent or somebody has an agenda.
Yeah.
One of those two
Yeah.
things.
Where's the watchman?
I think it's both.
And there's a watchman.
Oh, that don't make noise?
I think it's both.
When they
You
go, they don't make noise.
ever hear a spanner? You ever hear a spanner on doing bolts on steel? You ever hear that?
Who thief that, SpongeBob? That the only way that can make noise?
They levitate it. They levitate it.
Oh.
No, but you have to ask yourself, if we continue to allow the political discourse to be overshadowed by nonsense like Sharon Rowley's sex life, I want to say again,
Distraction.
I don't care what she
That
doing.
is distraction.
I tell people all the time, don't bring things to me about who praying to who and who sleeping with who.
We don't
But
care
apparently the
about
man don't care. He say he could take a horn.
that. That's right. We don't
Say
care.
A
that.
man sing a kite so long time saying it's only a horn if you take it on.
So he
He
indicated.
didn't take it on.
If you want to
God, he say he could take a
you
horn.
know, down that road,
And he said, yes, and nobody to kill nobody.
And he said nobody to kill nobody. Most important.
I feel you trying to trap me in a conversation. And I leave it
No,
like
it's third time you try to debate, eh?
Wait. Talk about yes, I know what you're talking about, right?
Wait.
Talk about.
What's that? You can't be nice like me and don't get about your whole life. What's that? Come now, you
Listen, I can
you never get on.
Of course, I get horn all my life.
Right. It just, I can't recall it ever happened to the leader of any prime minister or president.
I tell
Any-
my
But Clinton didn't horn Hillary.
Yeah, but Clinton was the president.
Stephan, I tell my son, I say, watch me, take your horn early. You know
And-
why? Because men who can't take a horn just end up in jail or drinking weed-like substance.
And let me
or
correct you on
stupidness.
Clinton. Remember, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Just remember he said that, eh?
Poor Monica
Didn't have
always
sexual
did.
relations. Poor Monica. Oh gosh. I cannot
Look,
remember
Beyonce,
any leader in the world.
Beyonce
getting
just
on.
sing about that. Beyonce just sing when she asked her to take it off. Beyonce had to change a song because it was referencing poor Monica.
Because I always wonder like how the queen does you know, how the queen does get it on.
Everybody just get horn at some point. Isn't it?
No, but the queen, I mean the queen has not a king for the longest while, right? So the queen just chilling
You
alone.
didn't watch the whole show about the royals the other day?
No.
Prince Phillip was a coxman. She had to tell him, do what you're doing, but keep it under
Keep
low.
it under
Yeah, I remember
Keep
that.
it under low.
But how she does make out?
Apparently,
She like our president?
again, let me. Oh my God, let me
This rum strong today, boy.
Yeah, but that's
Waiting hard today, boy.
I'm like Alcalado.
We cannot.
But back to some serious conversation.
Okay, watch this.
He
Monday night-
mentioned something.
Monday night-
Wait. He mentioned something. He said he ain't killing, he ain't saying nobody, don't kill nobody, right? Just on the Gary Griffith being his biggest mistake, right? Wasn't Gary Griffith implicated in Emailgate as conspiring
Boss man.
to kill a journalist?
Gary Griffith.
And he still gave me work.
Gary Griffith get vexed with me for saying this. Because Gary can't take, he don't broke opposition.
Uh-huh.
When Keith Rowley appointed or approved him, I was sitting in the parliament. I was sitting and I was watching and I was hearing him talk. And I said, you did not take back your words. You accused this man of conspiring to murder. And you didn't walk those words back. You didn't walk it back. So then, if you are not walking it back, you've just appointed somebody.
Who might
That
likely be a
you-
murderer?
Thank you. But now we sign up on our platform and say, Gary Griffith is the biggest mistake he ever make. In the face of 380 something murders for the year so far, 100 and something more than last year. Right?
Already.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's 100
He
and
should
something more
have
than last
never been allowed to
Around this
escape
time.
responsibility for Emailgate. That went beyond parliamentary
But I see next thing,
privilege.
we go back.
No, but I want to say this. You know, I don't want to finish this because I
144
don't want to
projects
leave
at a
it.
cost of $50 million. Emailgate, accused
Boss
and
man, that
fake,
that
and nothing
man,
happens. He's still Prime Minister.
He accused
2 terms.
a sitting Prime Minister, her Attorney General, her then security advisor, of conspiring to kill Denise Wren, a media reporter. I tell people this. I say when you go back and you watch Emailgate and you watch Rowley, you see it was so salacious that we get, what the hell? So we get trapped. But if you listen to what Rowley was saying, Rowley said, and he and Faris immediately contradicted each other. He got it as an email. Faris said he found it in a mailbox. No, he said he got it in a mailbox. And Faris said it was given to him by a whistleblower who he trusts. Two total contradictions.
Total
eh?
different. And the contradiction still going on today.
But
and this-
Rowley
this-
said in the parliament, when he read this, it was so obscene, it frightened him.
Yeah.
He read about an attorney general, a prime minister, and at least her communications advisor plotting to kill a reporter, Denise Wren.
And we do.
He didn't call Denise. He didn't call the police. He didn't call the chief justice. He didn't call anybody that could have had an impact. He went by Max Richards. And he said, Max, investigate this. Maxim, but I don't investigate. I know my job. Of all the people, he didn't go to the Integrity Commission. He didn't go to Transparency International.
You remember that big match? You remember that big match along
He
in Savannah?
didn't call CNN.
The big, that
He
big
didn't
match
call
along in
Fox.
Savannah with all them PNM.
Boy,
I was part of that. I went to
I was on the
I was on that match.
All of we get
Yeah.
trapped. All of we get trapped.
I went to that match when you went to the
All of we
president's
get
house.
trapped. The
I
man,
remember that.
the man talented.
I don't want to take down that picture, yes?
Let's say Dennis Red got killed. Let's say something had happened to Dennis Red. Wait, if something happened to Dennis Red, what he was going to do? But look at how here 5 months ago. What he was going to do? Jump out and say, but look at how I get it 5 months ago.
6 months after that, when he realized that Max Richards was only interested in whining on Carnival girls,
And taking a
he
drink.
went and get it back. He didn't call Denise. Denise, I know it's 6 months late, but they plotted for you. He called the police. Hey, officer, I know it's 6 months late, but they plotted to kill Denise. He didn't do that.
Was Max Richards?
He didn't. Look what he didn't do. He didn't call. Now, I don't know.
No, it was Max Richards, yeah.
Chairman of the then Integrity
Yeah, it was
Commission,
Richards, it was
Ken
Richards.
Gordon. The chairman of the then Integrity Commission was Ken Gordon. Now, I don't know his secretary. So let's assume her name was Mildred. He didn't call Mildred and say, Mildred, I would like to make an appointment to talk to Ken. Because I have something very important to share. He didn't do that. It was so urgent, he left it with Max. And he let the days pass. And then the night, he got down the road by Ken. He said, Ken, open up, boy. Ah, see this? It's urgent. 6 months ago, they checked to kill Denise.
Oh, good.
He and Ken Gordon sit down.
It was what, 2 o'clock in the morning?
Ken said, I didn't have the benefit.
Hey,
I
Jack
didn't
will
have a
see people at
benefit
four.
of anybody to record the
Jack will
battle.
meet people at
So
four.
I took notes myself out of a sense of propriety. So can I take your word for it? You unreproachable. The Integrity Commission is who he went to. But he didn't go in the daytime where there were witnesses. He went in the night to confound it when he and the chairman alone could be a courtroom to themselves. Nobody else represented. No, but this is obscene that Kid Rowley got away with that.
No, now that
When
you've
he
told...
came-
Go ahead.
when he
Finish
came-
the
when he
story.
came
Finish the
into
recap.
Parliament, having just dragged into his tail 2 high offices, President of the Republic, Chairman of the Integrity Commission. He want to be able to say, I spoke to people. You didn't speak to Denise. You didn't speak to the police. You didn't call the commissioner. You didn't call anybody with substance. If you thought our entire system was corrupt, why are you in the Parliament with it?
Yeah.
Who was supposed to action it? Now that you're in the Parliament with it, what's supposed to happen? If you believe the Commissioner of Police and all of them corrupt, what's supposed to happen? All it was an attempted coup.
Yeah.
Kid Rowley tried to overthrow the government by talk, by trick, and that allowed to happen in our country, and that man was rewarded by being made Prime Minister. You
Twice.
surprised that
Twice.
the country is a criminal hotspot enterprise, that people climbing the pole and cutting on the cable? I surprised that we are doing more.
I just want to say, people, now that you all, there's the camera, where the camera, right? Now that you all just heard the full email gate recap, you see why Trinidad is not a real place.
Can't be.
You see why Trinidad is not a
Can't
real
be a
place and
real
will
place.
never be a real place?
Can't be a real place. It can't be a real place. And all of it, you see all of them keeping secrets.
You know,
All of them keeping secrets.
You know.
You need a government
It have-
outside of the PNM and the UNC
you know it have people
to
who
crack
still-
open all
you know
of
it
them.
still have people, it still have people, real diehard people, who still believe that Emailgate was real,
Oh, yeah.
despite
Yeah.
every investigation.
I had PN sycophants.
From the time, listen, I remember I was still green in the game, but from the time Google dismissed it, I said, well, party done. If Google is the source, and Google say no, it don't exist.
Boss man, the Director of Public Prosecutions does not update the country about any case. When the Integrity Commission under Zainul Hossain, and I know because that's my son's grandfather, when the Integrity Commission under Zainul Hossain said that there is no substance to this matter, all of a sudden a Director of Public Prosecutions rose to tell the people, but the case ain't closed. When
Yeah.
it was proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that there were no actual emails, Faris Al-Rawi, I will never forget this. I said, this man is a magician. Faris Al-Rawi told the nation, even if the email's not real, the content of the email.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
I said, this man's a magician. The letter that I sent you wasn't a real letter, but the words in the letter are real.
They're real, yeah.
And I said to myself, these people could get away with murder.
Those are we leaders,
What he
right?
said. They believed what he said.
That's the problem in the politics. That's the point these gentlemen trying to make. That Trinidadians have to stop. And you know what?
Let us not take talk and
if you
analyze
fight-
I like that
this in
jersey.
front of us.
Oh, I wore
I
it
like that jersey.
because I know I was coming here.
I want one of that.
You want one?
Very
Yes.
See if we can find
They
it.
on
Where we
sale
can
right
get
here,
one?
that the back of that says
Yeah.
pepper.
True?
I not, you
That
go see the
conceal
back
it?
rate on here.
After today's
I don't see the back rate on
episode
here.
in Debe, I said, I'm coming down here with this.
Nice one. But Esther, you're quiet all the time. Esther's really a pastor?
Yes, I am.
So
and
Esther-
a statement that my good political leader just made.
Oh, this is,
She is
People,
our part of our party organization.
she's a pepper pastor? Okay.
people,
We're not gonna stick on her. That will not
that's
stick on her.
okay.
That's right. She's a pepper
People
pastor.
believed when you stand up in position as a leader, whether it's a pastor, political leader, whatever is said, they don't assess it, they don't analyze it, nothing. They said it and you believe it.
Yeah.
Even with COVID-19, we saw the impact.
Sheep-like
People
behavior.
believe, they look,
Yeah.
this is why in
So
my
they-
assembly I would
The
tell them,
wilderness talk about.
do not take my word for granted. We believe in the word, we read the Bible. You go now, read it, and ask the Holy Spirit to give you guidance. To whom much is given, much is required.
But okay.
So whatever I say may not be for you, but it may be for you. But we don't assess anything.
But how come? Here I want to find out. I'm glad we have a pastor in the shop. I'll rename it the
Pastor,
shop
we're
from here on
drinking
in.
the
All right.
Hey, Welch, bring some.
Drinking what?
Bring a
Get the
drink for the
pastor
pastor.
some wine.
It's what I'm drinking.
If
No,
you
but-
give
but-
her water, she can turn it into
She'll turn it down. Please, Esther. Please.
I am not
Simple
Jesus.
to the Esther.
I am not Jesus.
No, but here I want to find out.
How come Benny Hinn and
I
them,
want
of
to
all the
find out.
miracles they replicate,
forget you have
how
your
come
man.
they never do that? But I tell you, you don't heal nobody, you know. If you just come on stage and turn all the water into wine, but
That's it. Boom.
I following you for
Boom.
today.
Yeah, but a wedding.
That is not for
But
Has
Esther,
to be
here I
done
want to
for
find out.
purpose,
Here I want to
yeah.
find out. Where or when is he better? Is he better? When we went wrong, because we went from being a society that would read, research, and make an informed decision, to being a population that just
We never used to write
Accepts
read
the lie.
and make
We
going
went
we never
wrong
did that.
from
We
the
never- no,
beginning.
We never used to do that.
Listen,
No, we
went
never-
We
wrong.
never used to do
Never
from
tell
school.
you.
We
Thank
read any
you.
white man book. We read
Well, all right,
it.
all right.
We
We
pass
graduate
our
from
exam.
school.
We say we bright.
That's it.
Let me rephrase
Trinidad and
it.
We
Tobago.
never
when it is we started to believe lies and take it for the truth.
always did.
Yeah. So when they had the
From the
Candora
time we
and
became independent,
yeah.
Let's go
we
back.
always
You ever hear the
did.
saying, anything the doc say, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
So I don't care.
Yeah,
the
that's
doc
true.
say that,
Always
we
did.
right.
We
The doc
always
say
did.
that.
we never used to
Stephan,
we were programmed in Trinidad and Tobago not
The
to
leader
think.
say that.
Yeah, man. You see that's what you just said there?
We were
I'll tell you.
programmed in
If you
Trinidad
don't
and
know the
Tobago not
history
to
of Trinidad
think.
and Tobago, and you have to do it fast. A fast history of Trinidad and Tobago is they found this place, they was looking for salt because they had a world war and nobody could get salt, and they reached in Trinidad, they find pitch. And pitch was good for keeping your boat from sinking, so they stayed here. They fought over it a little bit, they fought over Tobago plenty, because Tobago had cocoa. But they fought over Trinidad a little bit, and whoever ended up with Trinidad in the end decided, let's put the slaves to work. So they went, they got some slaves, they brought them here. Those slaves, that didn't work out for long. They had to get a new thing, they call it indenture. That was a kind of pseudo slavery they brought them. All those people ended up free on the place with their former masters. And all those people were told, let's find a way to live in harmony. But you have to remember that white skin good, black skin bad.
Bad.
And that's Trinidad and Tobago today.
In a nutshell.
That's the history of Trinidad and Tobago.
But
And
something
just-
like the
that
lies
is
that we
all
believe
over.
today more. I mean,
It's in every aspect of our life, even with the Bible. I never read the Quran nor the Gita, but I believe it's the same thing. Man has taken the scriptures with their own agenda and boxed us into it, and we believed it. We believed it.
Where Jesus
And
come
we
from?
criticize
Where Jesus
everybody
come
else.
from? You think they had blonde hair, blue-eyed people? But we don't dwell in this too long, too much. Trinidad and Tobago is what you're concerned about. And Trinidad and Tobago's state is that they've divided us. Britain couldn't rule India without dividing them into Hindus and Muslims.
Right.
You couldn't rule Rwanda without separating the Hutus from the Tutsis.
Tutsis.
You can't rule Trinidad without separating the Africans from the Indians. So we end up with the sugar belt and the oil belt. Trinidad. Trinidad.
That's the
And the
reality.
PNM and all of it. All of us who parrot recalcitrant minority and all that, we just helping the bullshit along. You know?
Yep.
We didn't even understand when we were talking about recalcitrant, man, we didn't even understand the meaning of recalcitrance.
But we was vexed.
But we were vexed, we were talking about the Indian,
The recalcitrant minority?
Yeah, minority. Yeah.
Watch me, it was
Nonsense.
big words, it was the doc. And that, when you looked at the whole country through Selwyn Kujo's eyes and Sak Maraj eyes and everything coach, I was trying to bring this to the conversation just now. Monday night, when Rowley was by Pig and Corner talking about who got on who, Kamala was wherever them was, talking about who went to Napa, them ever plant cassava. She out of place. She out of place to say that. The Agri Expo. And you can't politicize everything.
They boycotted, they didn't go. I think they were invited and they
worse
didn't
than
go.
not going. Ravi Ratiram is either Ravi Ratiram or Dave Tanku. I can't tell them apart. And Marsha Walker, she I can recognize. Get on like some jagabat outside the thing when we had international guests. I telling you, disagree, but don't tell the world that you're so irrelevant that the moment you think they're gonna have some news cameras, you there with your nastiness. Because whether or not you like them or not, it's an agricultural expo. The others here. Watch it, see it, test it, kick the wheels, test drive it. If it turn out to be nonsense, expose it. But you can't pretend that everything the government do wrong, because then the country will fall apart.
Yeah.
The government is not the government of black people.
I think it'll fall
the
apart
government,
already,
the
but-
country falling apart. I'm not telling you no, but the opposition is not the solution. They're offering nothing. All they're offering
They're
is
offering air. Air.
bacchanal. they are counterbalance bacchanal, and what they're doing is, don't make it. It's not accidental that when the unions was marching, the UNC was currying duck. You see, those kind of dog whistle politics have this place failing. Indian people confused. I want to vote for something that makes sense, but anti-Kamala, it cannot continue that way.
And you see, that's the thing you mentioned that because all the while you're talking, I agree with you. I think everybody will agree with you here. And I think a significant amount of people that are on the live. We on TikTok, Welch?
Yes.
We on TikTok. Good evening to TikTok. We on YouTube. Good evening to YouTube and Facebook. I think a lot of people will agree with you, but here's the thing. It always comes down to the numbers, right? And I mean, we're reaching the point now that I think we had to start to, for lack of a better term, groom the audience into thinking a different way.
Brilliant.
So it comes down, and the reality is this. Just like I mentioned, there are still people that believe in Emailgate. They believe in that because they believe in the ideology that they believe in based on that symbol or that color or whatever that they support. It's the same thing for the other side.
Do you think they would support Rowley if he crossed the floor and ran for Nigel Martin West
That
as
wouldn't happen.
UNC? But I'm asking you.
No, they wouldn't.
So
But
the
that's the thing.
whole ideology.
But they will
of-
support him in the. Hold on.
Boss
They will
man.
support him.
Yeah, but break it apart.
Yeah, but hold on. They will support him as he is right now under that banner, and they will support Kamala Prasad Bisesa
They
as
will
she is under the banner
Call
that she's
short.
running for. Right? Good. We can agree on that. So here's your problem, right? For the PEP and the NTA and the Watson Dukes. How you're shifting the base, because it is the base which is the minority that holds the country to ransom.
He asked it
How
earlier.
you're shifting.
He asked it earlier. Stop right there. Don't make it complicated. It is not our job to make people vote sensibly. It is our job to give people sensible options.
That's right.
That's our
Give
job.
them the truth.
We give them
Facts.
sensible options.
What if they refuse?
That's their
Yeah,
choice.
no.
You can't force
We
people.
have a responsibility.
The whole thing about horse to water, you can't force them to drink. There is no dance that I can dance. Is why I was asking you earlier. If Kamala Prasad Bisesa ran for Superior as the PNM candidate,
She
would
lost.
she win?
She lost.
If Kid Rowley ran for Diego Martin West as the UNC
She lost.
candidate,
He lost.
so the whole ideology collapses there. You are not following this personality. I don't care about you as my leader. I care about the party. And why do I care about the party? Because I have been told if I see my identity in this party, I safe. Safe from what? How does it benefit anybody? The people who are suffering the most in this country are poor black people, and they've had a government that's supposed to have them as their base, representing them for 75% of our independent history. $3 trillion passed through this country. They have nothing to show for it.
One of the saddest things I think Facebook post that I saw during the last election, I think was the post that said I rather suffer under PNM than prosper under UNC. I think
But you
that's
see,
that's insane.
That
to
is
think
what
like
I call.
It is
By
insane.
you saying
to,
that, no, but you saying
no,
that.
it is insane to
But
want to
that's helpless.
suffer. Period.
Boss. That's
And
the
not
same-
prosper.
that's the same-
Regardless of
that's the
whoever it
same
is.
Dog whistle. That's the same dog whistle. They're putting this out there. They're putting this
But
out
that
there.
was said years ago with a UNC person. They rather.
But it's what I'm saying,
suffer
yeah,
on-
yeah.
So that
And
is the
it's-
mindset
it's
of the
re-
people.
They
of some
repeat it
people.
and they flip it up in accordance
So
to
both of them,
whichever.
both of
Right.
them, both of them
Yeah.
use
We
that
know.
kind of
They have
word.
Let us use it.
Like, you know.
What I'm saying is, it's a saying that could be used either way. My thing is, I think a person is really beyond help when you could take an option to suffer under anything rather than prosper.
We can't get away from that, you know.
That's
You
what I'm
would
saying.
always
I
have
absolutely-
people
And if that is the
feel that
ignorance,
way.
if that is
But I
the ignorance
absolutely-
that
but you
exists
see,
in this
is what-
place,
This is your point, though, and I want to help you get to your point.
I do not
Your
agree with
point-
that.
Your point is that you need the voters to vote in their own best interests.
right?
If-
Do you think, all right, be honest, that project that you did in debate is a UNC stronghold. They vote in PNM. In your estimation, what you did there would do,
He's swift.
but we are,
Yeah,
is,
yeah, man,
is international,
He's
is CNN or Fox,
Don't play it well,
right? Do you think that project that you did there, the concern, the solution that you brought to the people at DB by that death strip, you think you move anybody to change from yellow to orange?
Ask me this about the flooding
You think they appreciate it?
under the Cocorite overpass. That there
Yeah.
is 3 diehard PNM constituencies. They go Martin West, they go Martin Northeast, they go Martin Central.
Right.
All suffer. Every time the rain falls for 15 minutes, there are floods.
Yeah.
15 minutes, it floods. So everybody yesterday brace because rain fall like storm, lightning hit the park. We had lightning and thunder here, it was bad. People brace. I fixed that. Not even a puddle of water. When Jack Warner, the first big fix I fixed, when Jack Warner was Minister of Works under the People's Partnership, I went to him with the solution that became the Four Roads bypass. Before that, people don't remember that from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to go to Diego Martin required that you start traffic from Movie Town. And every back street and side street in Woodbrook and St. James and Mokorapo was ram and road rage. Because 70,000 people going home. And 70,000 people trying to pass between Freddy's Bakery and Four Roads gas station. And if a taxi stop, boom,
Boom, yeah.
right? It back all the way up to here. That bypass that we built, Calco get big contract, $200 million. All kind of engineering to get paid. Phillip Alexander and get set. But Benny Hatem and the family used to own Woodford Cafe and everybody else are called Benny name because they all knew. They tell people, call Phillip. If you have a problem with traffic, call Phillip. I got the traffic wardens there through Jack and I had to get Jackie Jacket. Jack was very cooperative and he helped. When that bypass was open, Sammy family, Calco, Suru, Drambachan, Jack was now out of favor because it took about 3 years. Kamala, all them cut ribbon. Phillip not there. Phillip is not an invited guest. The people believe then that Kamala and the UNC fix it for them. At that time, I wasn't political. I just wanted to fix my community in Diego Martin,
Right.
so that everybody could get home. When you drive into Westmoreland, plenty of people who drive into Westmoreland will see some poles in the road and some pieces of concrete run between the lanes, and they don't know that that was created because of this afternoon traffic, because people would drive past the Diego Martin main road and go down into Westmoreland to come back across the traffic light to go by St. Finbar's Church, to go through Broome Street in Alberta. All that was
Yeah, I know that drive. I know that drive.
all that was crammed with cars. No more.
No more, yeah.
Problem solved. Come full circle to your question. Debe, like Cocorit, are examples of national problems that impact the people who live there more than anybody else. If those people don't see that they have a political option outside of the PNM and the UNC willing and able, because we're not just talking anymore, we're fixing stuff. We're getting it done on the ground. Rohan Senanan today picked up those barrels to say he don't care about the people in Debe. He don't care about who crashing into that roundabout. He cares about politics. We didn't do it for politics. We did it to say that you have an
In
option.
fact, he might say they can crash on there. That was UNC supporters who going up there. That's what he might be saying.
Yeah.
Why he didn't go?
He mightn't say it, but some people who
Why he
support.
didn't go? If he's so bad mind, it's the same road, it's the same drain. Why you don't go and fall back the drain by Cocorit? Up there is Diego Martin, like PNM people. So it adds some credence to his point.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be so nasty, spiteful, and bad mind, down by DB, do it in Cocorit too. But I want him to hear. I don't know which kind, but to look at that. What Rohan said and to hear me. Brother, we have 48 more barrels. And we go in by every death strip and every one of those roundabouts. And we go in Macoya, and we go in Valencia, and we go in Trin City, and we go in opposite Lockjack by Mount Hope, and we go in everywhere that you abandon people to their own devices and have people crashing and damaging their cars. We go in and fix it there too. So have your crew and your truck follow you around, because we will demonstrate to Trinidad and Tobago that you don't have to have this incompetent joker Rohan Senanan as your minister of works when there are people who could fix it.
That's right.
All right.
Parliament or
I just realized I was sounding like I was in Parliament. No, but I'm vexed. Stephan, you know why I'm vexed? We didn't ask the government for $1.
But I next thing I was going to ask, because I think one of the things too, like
so
I
they
was
get
saying,
it back in barrels, right?
The lawyers will talk.
right? No, the other thing too, right? I think it's good, or it would be good for you to expose how much that costs.
And make sure and inflate it, because if they had done it to that cost about $6 or $8 million.
Look, but it's good.
And lots yours could
it's
cost
good.
about $3 million.
I
It's,
don't know,
it's
all
good
lawyers-
for people to know what is the cost of a solution like that, because and the same thing we were talking about a little earlier. They tell you they do work and it costs this. Well, we didn't fix the road because we was trying to keep all their alive to the tune of $10 billion, but where it gone? We must now, I think it's time that these contracts and these types of projects start getting exposed and put a value on it, so that people will know now.
Appreciation.
But wait
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
if that man could fix it for $20,000,
Why the government spend
how
10
come the
million?
government solution is
But
$20 million?
listen, you know, even if you do that,
Hello.
Yeah.
they're going to vote
Good, we like
for the
them.
government still, right? Because, I am seeing roads paving all about right now, and I just smelling elections.
I
Some
think
kind of
so.
elections coming. Because you're
But we know
paving
the local
roads.
due in
Because
December.
you know there's paved roads about 3 or 4 months before election.
election.
Because it ain't gonna last more than that. After the election for the next few years, it mash up.
But you see it
The
in
Wassa
a
Mafia
local
coming.
government election
Yeah.
back in preparations
Right.
or something
No,
bigger?
local government.
On the
Because
local level.
The Wassa Mafia.
They point
But that
out,
doing
The
it in
Wassa
December.
Mafia coming to dig it up. So it ain't gonna last till the elections if it's more than 5 months from now.
but
Yeah.
the point of,
Well, if the
the
point
poor
of,
local government, like I told you, he was going to point off, he could never afford to
Yeah, the
test.
internal.
He can't test the water. He is going to get licks, bad licks.
Yeah, but can they? All right. But okay. Well,
All of
obviously
that
they
paving
can.
is because Phillip fixing it.
Obviously they
So
could
Phillip,
postpone
the
it.
paving you because
But-
of you then.
Because
I went on
yeah.
Michelle Benjamin in Moruga. She posts about, look, we fixing this road. I say, being disingenuous. Tell the people that we came up there and put this on blast because Ole wasn't taking those people on. And that is why money spending in Moruga. We get about 3 times the comments and likes and shares than her original comment. You know, her original post. Because the public not stupid.
That's right.
People are awake now and they are seeing. And social media has cracked open the entire conversation. So Guardian and TV6 and Express and CNN,
Can't control
CNC3
the
can't
narrative.
control the narrative.
Control the narrative
People
at all.
seeing, they realizing, wait now, these people so stink and dirty that private citizens will fix a problem and you will send
I see,
state-owned,
I
taxpayers
see.
paid workers
Ole.
in a taxpayer's van to pick it up.
You see the clip with Jason Williams on CNC3 on Abercrombie Street with the pallet or they used to cover the hole?
I watch it. I try to understand it.
Yeah,
He
but-
didn't run for election as a PNM.
Ah!
And he
And
talking
he's
about,
saying that, right?
he talking about how you could left foot, right foot here.
Yeah.
I said he fall out with them. Or he must be was promised something that he didn't get.
It's probably right. No, but he showed it. It's an Instagram clip, right? So he did this little piece, but it little comical to me that while he doing his thing all over the place and he all over social media because these guys in the social media, so they seeing the things that he doing. They must see. It hard to miss it. But you know, he out in the road on Abercrombie Street with a hard hat on and the vest and thing. You saw it, right?
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
And he's saying, but look at this. But this where we put to cover this hole, 2 pallet. The hole is the size of the pallet. But it's Jason Williams. So even when you had to be serious, he's still doing it in a comical way. It's not a joke. No, that's my competition. He on the same time with me. I just take these things very serious because I real passionate. Now, so I would tell him because I don't know if you'll see it. But the public doesn't know when you're passionate and when you're not passionate, when you're genuine and when you're not genuine. So if you coming out to highlight something that is a thorn in the side of the average citizen, right? Something that could damage a vehicle, take a toll on the pocket,
Of course, yeah.
Take
all the
it.
money.
take it serious.
Hey, that man
Right?
who's that man?
Yeah, but they're not the clip, right? They're not the clip.
You're looking like Fitzgerald.
It's one with him on Abercrombie Street. But yeah, he all over the road, right? With his pothole thing. Right. No, he doing it in a way. No, he naturally so, eh? It's a natural thing. But my thing is, it had times that you could make joke about certain things, and then it had times that you had to be serious. You see, for me, infrastructural parts, any infrastructure issue in the country is a serious matter. And it's a serious matter because that poor infrastructure costing somebody money. Somebody who could have take that money that they're going to fix their vehicle now, right? And buy
Yes.
bread in the grocery,
Exactly.
pay the bills, or maybe just provide something a little extra for the children.
Not only that, it's killing people.
Correct. And it causing accidents and killing people too.
A lady went down
So
in
it's not
some-
a
a lady
kid's
went down
thing.
in a pothole and flip or something.
By
there.
Yeah.
No, but what you think
That-
behind his video? Because you had to ask yourself that question. Is he separating himself from the PNM?
I think, all right, let me tell you what has happened, man. Let me tell you this happened. From the time he decided to run under a political banner, he's a guy, he would have the corporate market locked in terms of hosting events and things like that.
You don't get them on.
Nah, half of your clientele done gone. You don't get blacklisted by half of them.
Okay.
See, you don't get blacklisted.
But he got CNC3 work.
Well, he get a CNC3 work, yes.
He's still there.
He's still there because he's still doing this.
No, but
I don't know
is
if
he
he
on
actually
CNC3?
hosting the show
I don't
or if they have him out in the street doing this pothole thing. And you know, he started doing this, and I don't know, maybe it's just timing.
Also, wait, is it that they're trying to say that? Is it that they're trying to steal our thunder?
But that's what I'm saying.
Is
You
it that they're
started
trying to copy what we're doing? Because I didn't see him there when I did the pick your hole pothole, pick your hole by the cathedral.
Yeah.
That spawned a whole thing. Pick your hole.
Yeah.
Because that was a thing that you had to drive into a hole. You just had to choose
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That fix.
I think it's a bit of a piggyback off of what you're doing.
You know, it's sad about this whole thing.
I think the it's a similar
We're
piggyback.
promoting them a lot right now. I don't know why. But you know, it's sad about this whole pothole thing. Guys, that was the simplest thing to fix in Trinidad, you know.
Yeah.
Boss, Emancipation
This-
Day,
this-
I fix potholes in my street.
This is so simple. I could never
I was
understand why
able-
Trinidad. You go like asphalt, get some coal, mix straight in the hole, but when you're done.
$500 I spent
You're
on
done.
Emancipation
I
Day.
can never understand what the challenges with ministries, be it local, be it Ministry of Works, to fix basic pothole in Trinidad. I
Because
can never
everything is
understand
the thief money.
it. I can never. So
Everything
there's
is the
there's
thief money.
So the question is that, where are the people in the ministry social responsibility? Oh, forget the minister, I don't like to think about ministers, you know, because they're so low down the pick and pole for me in terms of my commitment to country. I'm in a ministry, yes? We are engineers, we are clerk of works, we are so forth, we have a permanent secretary, and you see this program, and they start calling on permanent secretaries because you can't go in government and you don't have a formula to deal with them. You cannot be no prime minister, no minister, and don't have a formula to deal with them people. And
Salwan.
just a wait, I had to run through this. We had to talk about the formula to deal with them because those are the people who write the checks.
I'm not
who do the
taking, I
estimate.
still not taking the blame of the minister. You
No,
campaign.
no.
You campaign that you can fix it. And I tell you something. That's what we campaigning on.
No. But your campaign had to go further.
Yeah.
Because them fellas campaign on a lie. You can't say you could fix it because if you tell me you could fix it, I will ask you how you fixing it with the system as is, and you want to continue the conversation. I will fix it, but these are the things I will be putting in place to fix it. Because you can't go in and fix it. You'll end up like you'll end up like Chambers, Robinson,
Everybody else.
Pandey, Manning. You'll end up same way because the system does not allow you to fix it once you're in a cabinet. Now,
Exactly.
some mischief you could do there, but generally delivering to the
Salwan.
people. Stop.
Yeah, but
You
I
are-
can't let you say that and leave that.
but
there.
I-
You're telling me
no,
Yes,
I'm
no, yes,
telling
no, yes,
you.
no.
the system could fix.
No. Yeah. I'm telling you, the narrative must continue from you. Phillip will fix it. And these are the things I have to put in place when I'm in government to fix it.
Well, I agree with that.
And that is, but you can't say I'll fix it.
No,
No,
but-
I will
but-
say something. I will say, yeah, he just an ex-executive I gone put there.
Not only
But
that,
all of them gone there.
Not-
And here what? Wait, they're gone in office.
That's what people say.
And when men feel, this is why ministers feel that they are anointed and not appointed, you know.
Yeah.
And the prime minister will feel, any one of them, I'm Lord of all I survey. Because the constitution in its foolish construct allow that behavior. And when the power rush reach to the head, they forget how they reach there. Because the
And-
system is
and-
construct. I want you to continue. I want we here.
Yeah, but
Continue the narrative and say, yes, PP will fix it, you know. And PP will be doing your Senate in. The third program, you talk about it. Some of the things you have to fix in government and in the state to be able to deliver to the
But
people.
Salvan, we spoke and we had a show where we spoke about the entire system
Yes,
of government in
yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. If nobody else is talking about it, if it is of benefit to the contract mafia, the food mafia, the bank mafia, and the two puppet parties that have people divided in identity politics, both in race,
talk about
thinking that it have somehow benefiting them. We time now, and as I ask them, when you saying we time now, 5 years down the road, your party gets swept out of power. What was yours? What did you get? Your
right.
education system didn't fix, public health didn't fix, the banking sector still doing you what they want. Nobody's explained to you why the country with the most powerful economy in the Caribbean has the weakest dollar of all. We've never had those conversations
Yep.
because there's never been a political reason to have those conversations. We were talking Indian and African politics, punto finale.
Yep.
So I know that the responsibility is on me to say that yes, it can fix and this is how.
Yes.
But we have to also attract people's attention. And I want you to know that
Right.
those barrels, fixing that debate death strip,
Agreed.
no, but if you want to draw people into a conversation when they'll take the time to listen to what you're saying, you have to be more than just talk. Everybody,
we agree with that. Of
everybody
course, of
talking
course.
at them.
Of course, of course,
Everybody
of course.
talking at them. Everybody going on Stephan show in the morning and talking a good talk.
but what Stephan was saying is so correct. One a lot of the things that we think need fixing, or we think that could be easily fixed, requires a certain amount of bureaucratic maneuvering to be able to do it. So, and if you check it, it goes straight up to the Constitution to some extent, the commissions and all that kind of thing, right?
But you're right.
And the thing is, thinking that you could just fix it by winning an election without the right kind of majority and that kind of thing, it would mean that you cannot really fix it.
Stephan,
no, just allow me to finish.
Why are you talking about? That's why you mentioned one thing.
Something.
Permanent secretaries. Give me a little insight into
Right.
that.
It has something
Into that line that
superficially
you're
that you will be able to fix.
I know.
Something at a superficial level, you'll be able to fix just so by just saying, by decree, we need to fix this as a minister, we have to fix this, we can fix this. But there are things that will require sometimes a simple thing like to buy something. It requires 3 codes and it requires all kind of different things to get to be able to do that. And when I talk about the ineptness or the reality that we are in with Trinidad and Tobago, I talk collectively. You know, the government is really the opposition and the party in power.
41.
The 41 of them. And so this is why I'm saying both of them has to go.
Yeah.
Both of them have to go. They must go for Trinidad and Tobago to fix, because if both of them, if there are things that needs to be fixed in Trinidad and Tobago, and as a Trinidadian, you seeing that this is affecting the country, crime, whatever, why can't both of you come together and say this has to fix in the interest of the country
I
and fix
understand.
it?
But in the current,
Why because you are opposition, you have to oppose?
in the current system and how it works, right? Especially what you're talking about, that a minister might want to, you might get in the government, they might appoint you the minister of works and transport, you want to fix certain things, but you can't.
Right.
And the reason why I mentioned the permanent secretary is because the permanent secretary
Well, they are the accounting officer.
right, but what
Could I-
to what powers
Could I say something here?
does the
I want to
permanent
say,
secretary possess?
I want to say
But they
everybody.
don't know.
Would it be too much power?
Okay, well.
Could I say something to this?
And if
That's
so, how we
important.
changing that?
David Welch, we're going to run a little later tonight because we have to have a conversation here that Stephen Matheson just raised, and the public have to be aware that every single thing that exists in the country has to have a law written to make it so. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is governed by a law.
Yes.
How the commissioner of police is appointed was just, the law was just changed 3 times to facilitate Gary and then to bar him.
Yes.
They're playing with that law, right? The ultimate power of the country lies in the legislature,
Yes.
where those laws are written.
41.
What
Parliament.
Selvon just said, that the 41 seats, Trinidadians have to understand the reason they call seats,
It's legislature. That's the legislature.
right? But the entire country, 1.4 million of us, cannot go and argue in Woodford Square and say, I want this as a law, you want that as a law. Can't. It wouldn't work.
Right.
So we said that we're going to divide, and we borrowed pieces of Westminster, but not all of Westminster. When he said earlier, our Westminster is a dictatorship, he don't know how true that is. We took Westminster, the 1976 changes that Eric Williams and Ellis Clark did to our constitution, took away all of the checks and balances that protected the country. Eric Williams made himself a dictator.
After Beetham and Solomon Hochoi left, and Eric William and Clark gainsided it, the whole thing went awry, you know.
In the constitution that we had, our independent constitution, was changed in 1976, and it created this demagoguery that we have now.
King of all I
survey.
Eric William created with Ellis
When
Clark,
you read the constitution, you ask questions. I interviewed Basdeo Pandey. That video still exists. The only prime minister I ever interviewed. And I asked the man questions that he could not answer, and it was simple questions. Why does the country, why do these things run like this? And I realized not everybody who's been a prime minister understands how the country works.
Could I beat this? I don't want.
They don't understand how the country works. When we say
41 of them don't understand how the country
So when
works.
we say-
Otherwise, they would have done things to fix it. They don't know.
So to the voters outside there who think that they vote in PNM or they vote in UNC, what the government is that we've divided the country into groups of 35,000 people, 41 groups.
Yes.
Yes.
And all 41 of those groups of 35,000 people,
Choose a man to
you
represent
send a
you.
representative.
Yeah.
That's why it's called the House of Representatives.
Representative, yes.
You send a representative, and all 41 of the representatives will discuss on your behalf.
Yes.
So Toko Manzanella issues and Diego Martin West issues and Tobago East issues will get addressed in a conversation among 41. There is somebody who is supposed to be in charge of the conversation to keep it sensible. A chairman, we call you the speaker. And your job is to chair the proceedings and get us to a point. So we say that of the 41 in the parliament, somebody should lead the conversation. So we say the person who is likely to command the support of most of the people naturally in this 41, we will call you the Prime Minister. And the person who comes second, you're the leader of the opposition. In our new 1976 post-Eric Williams Ellis Clark Constitution, the opposition has no role in government.
No role.
They represent the people, but they have no role in government.
Unlike the British,
Unlike the British system. You just watch the British Prime Minister lose his job for attending a party.
By his own people who get rid of him.
It's his people started to quit the cabinet.
Yes.
They don't take their things stupidly in real countries, but in Trinidad. Now the voters have to learn these things, and your voice, you reach people. And you have to get people to understand that the people who have been burning this country down for the last 60 years, you cannot trust them to out the fire. We desperately need change. And I'm not saying that it has to be me. God knows I don't want to be wasting my life, because it feels like a waste of my life doing this. But somebody, you said, to whom much is given, much is expected. Everybody has a role. I have the ability to direct knowledge. When you end up with 41 people in the parliament, they write the laws that govern the country. If you read the constitution, you will see there will be a House of Representatives, there will be a parliament, there will be a judiciary. All of those things have to have a law. Now that the 41 of us are here, so when we say reboot the republic, that's what we say, you know. That's the name of our manifesto. Reboot the republic. Go back to that conversation. Go back there. We've had 60 years of all the ways it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
No.
We know.
Yeah.
We know about it. You asked about permanent secretaries.
This should be an independent celebration conversation.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
That's
The reason why I ask for permanent secretary because it seems like you can't do nothing about it.
Regional health authorities waste of time.
Waste of time.
Special purpose companies, when Patrick Manning pulled that out of his ass, what it was to do was to evade the tenders board, circumvent tender system. There is no more transparency. He made it sound like it was, you all said earlier, people get on the stage and they say, to save lives, to lower the price of food, to lower the price of housing.
So you have two parallel system operating and none of them are working.
None of them working.
But here what are going to do? We're going to, I see HGC going to set up a project
Three
management
companies.
company.
Three
Yes.
companies.
I see this and this and the next one again. Some road company we're going to set up again. So we have Ulicot, Nibdec,
But the PNM that
Yeah.
created the road tax on the gasoline in 2006, if you find a chair, join the conversation. In 2006, Stephan, the same PNM in a budget reallocated. People just ask where the road tax, The PNM took it back out. The tax remains, but it is no longer a road tax.
Yeah.
So they just continue to take the 5%.
The consolidated funds.
They consolidated the money, but they conned you into believing that they were doing a road tax so that you will pay 5% more for your gas for that, and then they just took that money and they never did what they said that they would.
Exactly.
And that is what has been going on.
And that is what is happening with our whole system.
And when you ask, you
Government
ask
in Trinidad and Tobago.
Central Statistical Office, Ombudsman, Auditor General, these are people that's supposed to have real functions in the country.
independent real functions.
Independent real function, the Police Service Commission, the Teaching Service Commission, the Public Service Commission. These are supposed to be organizations that have the ability to put checks and balances in place to political power. But political power subsumed all of their
Them.
authority to itself.
Yeah.
You know
That's what Eric Williams
Yeah,
did.
yes, with the
He
clerk.
is the
That's what.
That's what he sent Ellis Clark to do. He created an environment where he was the head of the police service, he was the head of the teaching service, he was king.
So
Everybody who's been in government since have been kings. The only thing that kept Basdeo Pandey and to some extent Kamala Prasad Bisesa back, if Kamala didn't lose Jack Warner, she'd probably still be in government today. Because Jack Warner understood that black public service culture that the Basdeo Pandays, the Kamala Prasad Bisesas, and the Anand Ramlogans and them don't understand. They don't understand that Anand Ramlogan's first gaffe, he tried to fire Phillip. He didn't even know that he had no control. He didn't even know he was the Attorney General.
Did I tell you?
So what you're looking at, and this rum shop getting full today, boy. I thought Carnival started.
We are running back. I want to hear where you say what's going on in Tobago now.
So I will stick a pin because I want to say next week, and Stephan made a good point, that we will have an independence and a constitution conversation and we will go into that.
Brilliant.
But for now, as we have real drinkers in the place, I think we can stick up in and start the madness. Mr. Man,
I just pass you,
it is always a pleasure seeing you.
I normally pass you, grab and go, whether you're here or not.
Yeah.
Pleasant good evening to all those. How are you? Good. I just pass you.
Ronnie, I hear they say
I work on my own things though,
the thing in Tobago, and they give her
The thing, what do you think? No, what do you think in Tobago?
Carnival.
Tobago Carnival, man. Come on, man, Phillip, man. Come on, Phillip, man. The thing in Tobago.
I had to say that.
I say he was going somewhere.
You're disrespectful. It's not a
Okay,
thing.
so here what?
Come on.
The Carnival in Tobago
Thank you, sir.
is supposed to be happening soon.
It is happening.
Right.
October 28th to
When he
30th.
say anything in Tobago, I say some girl, both he and Ronnie was there too.
Yeah. And you don't call women things either. So you lost
No,
twice. You lost twice.
Why asking
You lost
that?
twice.
Why asking that?
Careful, you know.
We are 2 months
I walk on my thing.
less than
That's the thing.
There's a thing. You can call this a thing.
we are less than 2 months from that, right?
Yeah.
I want to believe you could book a ticket now to go to Tobago.
No tickets. No, there's none right now. They plan to add on flights. Go ahead.
So how is this carnival happening with Trinidad?
Happening with Trinidadians. Yes,
Trinidadians.
Trinidadians are very involved in terms of participation. The rest of the world is also involved. The rest of the world is
Have they
hoping.
sold direct flight packages to the
Well,
world?
this, I keep mentioning that. I did an
Because
interview.
that's what they should be doing. Forget Trinidad.
Because the
Bring Germany, bring Britain,
right.
bring Japan.
Well, beside those, New York,
Yeah.
Toronto, Miami, they don't
Okay,
want to come
but-
Piaco.
No, exactly, but what's
But
saying
they
is,
get up and stand right.
that is the normal demographic that is by out your band. But saying to you, we broaden our horizon. Your carnival can really blow up in Tobago if you bring Germany and England and Japan too.
Correct.
Australia.
No, because and Germany and Japan normally goes to Tobago without coming to Port.
Exactly. That is a tourist demographic. But now you could tell them Tobago have a carnival of its own. And I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think if you wanted to become a carnival like New Orleans have a carnival that the population of the island is 50,000 people, but for carnival 1 million people there.
Right.
I think that's where you want to go.
Well, okay.
If it's going to be a money thing, that is where you have
Well, it is a money thing. It's
Yeah, but
business.
you had to
At
go.
the end of the day, they finally made the announcements, the official announcement. They have the calendar of events and stuff like that, and they have the website up and that kind of thing. So they know at that point. Unfortunately, they're not supposed to launch a carnival 2 months before. Launching a carnival is like 6 months before.
Right.
So they're basically 4 months behind. But we have the excitement has been building months ago.
They are leveraging people
So-
like you.
so how is
They're
Trinidad-
leveraging people like you and the other band leaders and Voice and them with their parties and things. So it's not like they're starting raw. It's like Trinidad, right now it's Trinidad Carnival Part 2 kind of thing. So they could,
Well, no, because the calendar events have some other things that is
No problem.
originally Tobago, which is good.
That's great. And you need plenty more of that. But what I'm saying
Definitely.
is, in this first version of itself, they were able to do this because they could have leveraged the expertise and
Well,
experience
not
of a
really,
lot of
because
yours.
I think in the earlies they were hesitant of involving.
But haven't they changed that mind?
Well, they couldn't really didn't have much control over it
Exactly.
because every carnival in the world, as they say carnival, they focus on Trinidad, whether it's designing, whether it's production. So by certain ones in Tobago saying, well, we want this to be our carnival and we don't want too much Trinidad influence. They was going down a wrong road because right now with Trinidad,
Did they have a plan?
they started off shaky and they get in there. This is their first year.
No,
allowing
besides
them-
the Trinidad leverage, what you just said, did they have a plan when they were saying that they didn't want any Trinidad influence? Did they have a Tobago plan?
No, because I was disappointed in the fact that they spent X amount of $100,000 to go Grenada to market. and it looked like they went Grenada
They went
recently.
Grenada for Martin.
Yeah. This one.
Oh, you did?
This one
Yeah, and well, okay. Well, what I'm saying is the figure was quoted as $297,000, and an announcement was made that it was less than 297, and you will get the correct figure in 2 days. I haven't heard the correct figure as yet. But what I'm saying is, everybody just focus on Trinidad when they want to have a carnival abroad. So don't get.
We have the model.
Yeah.
We have the model. We have the model. We have the model.
Grenada has come
We
here.
can put you on the road.
St.
We
Vincent
can
and
get you
Grenadines
to
and
All of them
Yeah.
all advertising by you.
All of them, yeah.
Question.
Stephan,
Question. Did you receive a Tobago Carnival ad yet for your show?
No.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Because Grenada advertised by him, Miami pumping because
Yeah.
October around the corner.
Barbados.
Everybody advertised by him. I am yet to see
Ronnie-
a Tobago Carnival ad by
Yeah.
Synergy.
Ronnie, my question is, right?
Yes, sir.
I like Carnival.
Take your time with the question.
I
Take your time. Go ahead.
No, listen.
I'm watching you. Go
Forgive
ahead.
him, forgive him,
Why-
forgive
why
him.
Carnival last
Nah.
night,
I
right?
like the festivities.
Okay,
before
all right. The
Carnival.
pre-festivities.
I would like
yeah.
to be in Tobago for Carnival. Right? Before now, I didn't know that. I wasn't sure about this thing, and in fact, I couldn't book a ticket to go to Tobago.
Let me invite you then. So, seeing that you can work from any part of the world, I suggest that you enter from the Saturday before. Because the Blue Food Festival is on the Sunday before,
Sunday.
which is the 23rd. Right, so I suggest that.
This man is like the ambassador for Tobago Carnival. Every time he talk, I learn something.
No, because you need to come for
But
Blue
they need
Food.
to have somebody like you talking.
No, but they're not Phillip and they didn't call you. Well, maybe they might, the rum shop talk is hundreds of thousands of viewers. So I'm in the right place. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, that love Ronnie. Yeah,
So they'll reach you. They'll hear me. So Blue Food Festival is the Sunday before. Now the pandemic created a nice excuse, whereas you could work from home, but then you could work from any part of the world. Make sure you have your shirt and your tie, and you could be in your boxers for your video meeting, your virtual meeting.
that's the way.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
So what I'm saying is that
Zoom is from the waist up.
a big man like you, who are wrong, who could fly any part of the world and go anytime they want.
Well, if
I
you
am-
can get to go.
Right. But no.
No, but you see, what he's saying is, if all the rooms book up, they're going to throw him out
Okay,
in 3
they're going
days
to have a
before.
problem, Philip. They're going to have a problem with places to stay. We know that. And you can't build a little 2-bedroom between now and then. It's their first year. And I think they're underestimating it as well. They didn't realize how the Carnival zombies is moving.
Yeah.
It have people just go.
They bring in cruise ships.
No.
Because you know you can bring 5 cruise ships and rent it and
Use
park
the
it up
rooms.
outside there.
Well, I
and have-
understand that
You have
happened for
10,000
that
more
happened
rooms.
for next year Carnival already.
But as you said,
I think that's what the add-on synergy.
so when you say you
you
can't,
have a two cruise ships going on dock for
no, but
for
when you
next
say
year, for
no,
next
but
year.
what
Yeah.
I'm talking about is
Try and get some ads.
what I'm talking about is bringing cruise ships, rented cruise ships to use the rooms, to pack it
Yes,
up.
but they have that for 23 for next year. They have that advertised already. But what I'm saying is, okay, they're not fully there yet. I ain't want to pound them too hard because I know it's their first year. They are custom
The
clashing
first
the
year,
Trinidad
anything
Carnival, and it's their first year. Allowing them, I keep saying certain little ideas, I'm pelting out certain ideas. They're picking up some, and let's go because I think they will be overwhelmed and they will be
Who is
pleasantly surprised.
the equivalent of Winston Peters in Tobago?
Not sure. I don't know them.
They don't have anybody.
No, they have a team.
No, but you know who's the head.
Thank you. They have a team.
But you should know that. You should have somebody speaking the thing so that
No,
everybody
that
know the
one
mission.
I think it's Trim. My last name is Trim.
Yeah. That one lady.
But I don't want to say it and make a
I
mistake.
agree with you.
So
I
let him
agree with
say it
you.
and make the mistake.
I agree with you that if it's
I'm not going to jump in that Philip. I know some names,
Ronnie
but I'm
come
not
for you,
going to
and
come.
what's me? Ronnie come for you, and as the last time he came for me, I ain't leaving you in your thing.
No, he started with things. So as he started, that's the end. He done.
No, but listen, I want to say that I underestimated your knowledge of Carnival. You know not just the creativity of Carnival. This man understands the business of Carnival.
Yeah.
He understands how Carnival works, the economy of Carnival. Carnival requires rooms. It requires movement of persons. You have to create demand. Creating demand by driving, marketing and communication. All those things.
Everybody benefits to see.
That is your start. Begin where they say start where you want to end.
Correct.
And work backwards. So you know that if you're not seeing it on Synergy, but you say you're giving them the benefit of the doubt for the first Carnival, I agree with you.
Yes, and
As long as there is a crew after to debrief and say, we could have done this better, we could have done that
right.
better.
You know.
That's important.
And I didn't like how they was kind of latching on you're holding on to it in the earlies. Like, you know, I don't want this and we don't want Trinidad. No, you can't get away from it with Trinidad. Trinidad Carnival.
I talked to a few of them
Trinidad
in
is
Tobago.
nice,
Yeah, so don't feel no
They were
way.
kind of, there was like that in
They were under the impression
No?
that the Trinity promoters was going to run in,
and take over everything.
take everything,
They call
and
it
follow
money
the
and go.
crocus bag with money and go back. That was the thing. And they was fully like, okay, like we say, like, Tribe was going to come and bring a band and bring 6,000 people on the road and take all the money and go back. No. Tribe can't handle
Okay,
Tobago.
but even if Tribe
Huh?
did,
When I say can't handle,
even if Tribe did,
Tribe have things going on.
Right. But even
So,
if- no, but-
Tribe can't slip in that in the calendar just like
but
that.
you use
Just
it as
like
an
that. It's
example.
planning.
That you use it as an example, but I'm saying, if Tribe bring their revelers and their band and everything, and it brings more people to your mass. I mean, that's what you're saying, right? That the more we are together, the merrier we will be.
Yeah, but I think the main concern was they wanted the emphasis to be on
They want
the-
that Tobago Tribe.
right, and not only that, they wanted to benefit
Tobago culture,
in all
history, that kind
aspects.
of
But
thing,
who full in the rooms?
But
You know,
he after, but Stephan, what he is saying, and I have to agree with him, because we had this conversation. You weren't here when the last
Yeah,
time he
but-
was
yeah,
here.
but I see the last time.
Oh,
boy.
gosh, boy.
Yeah, he was here, but he
And
said
we had
so-
things.
Somebody relieve my castle.
The last time we had real things. Not just at a water bottle.
Last time,
You know, the crystal ball didn't tell us Ronnie was coming.
I
He wanted to
don't know
fly.
what is the purpose of that?
David Welch bring the Zunge to keep Satish away.
That's fake. That's fake like saying. That is fake like saying. You are going on. That is fake like saying you use the pitch money for just fake. Just like
No, but you know
that.
what he said last time, and this is true. He said last time, Limbo and Midnight Robin thing not bringing the crowd. But if you bring the crowd, they will see Limbo and Midnight Robin thing.
Yeah.
So that's how you had to work it. So if Tobago feel that they're going to do Goat Race and Tobago Wedding and Blue Food together and hopefully make that a carnival, they can't. But if you put Trinidad Carnival model together and you bring the world
Then you're putting,
then they will see.
Highlight your things, man.
yeah.
Showcase your things.
It makes sense.
And the island, what's mean? The island is going to flip.
Because he said it.
Crown
right?
Point is going to end up by Charlottesville. It's going to flip. They're not aware what's going to happen. You know? I talk about Brooklyn,
Serious?
Miami, Toronto, Pisa Cayman Islands could have Carnival
No,
jumping.
but Tobagonians know how to make a guest house out of a house in 2 days. Eh?
Right.
You know that. You know that.
I suggested, you know what I suggested on Pigeon Point? You get like some 20-foot containers, convert it into accommodation, but high-end, you know, accommodation, and you charge a little 500 US a night. People will take that. A little 20-foot, just convert it. Because there's there's land, there's
Yeah,
space.
that
like
weekend at Carnival.
And you're decorating it now in Carnival.
But you don't even need place to sleep. We used to go Great Race and sleep on the fort in Tobago right there in Crown Point. When
It
Great
was
Race
safe,
there.
it was safer
It
then.
was safer then. It was safer then.
stop it.
But is Tobago as dangerous as Trinidad?
No, hell no.
man.
Vibes, different. Light. There's no swelling here.
Chalk
at all.
and cheese.
Light.
Chalk and
They stopped wearing masks long time.
We real bad over here.
We not a mess over here.
You know, everybody telling me that. They say, Phillip, if you go Grenada, you come back. If you go Dominica, you come back. You go Barbados.
If you go Guinea by then, nobody have a master.
He said,
Philip,
no one we have a master when they come back.
I know. That's what I'm saying. My dad
like
have
if you go Guyana, you ain't come back.
yeah, my dad have been caught.
No, but they say everybody. They say everybody.
Well, they don't invite me here now. They'll invite me here.
Do your thing, dog.
I come to pick up my food. I come to grab and go.
Bring a juice for the man. Bring man.
I
Bring a
come to
pack of
grab
salt. That's our
and go.
juice. No.
Well, you tell, look, listen now, man. Listen
Hey,
now, man.
all I saying is, Ronnie McIntosh, you bring a level of understanding that Tobago would be foolish not to use. I don't know what else to tell them. You are a generous guy. You're generous and free with your knowledge. Other people want a million. They want to eat a money.
Nah, I grow in it. I grow in it, you see.
Eat a food, make a money. I say eat a money.
My dad was at Adikoto. I grow with Kitchener and Sparrow and Lord
we
Fruit.
really bring nuts. Yes, come.
Come bring things
So,
on.
so as it stands right now with Tobago Carnival coming, Trinidad is starting the
We're not
Carnival
back on.
season and Tobago ending.
And that's how it's supposed to be. Since my
chew
good
on
friend
it.
Gypsy tried to introduce it to Orville London back in the day, but he tried it in a disrespectful way, and Orville
Well,
shut it
that's
down.
Gypsy.
Right? It was shut down, but Tobago not supposed to match up with Trinidad Carnival because half of Tobago does come down to Trinidad anyway.
Trinidad, yeah.
So it's perfect.
Take on back.
So that Trinidad on top of the calendar and Tobago right there in the calendar.
right on the
Miami has been boasting. Your ad on Synergy says Miami is the last carnival. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Tobago is the last. Trinidad is the first. Tobago is the last.
So what now? We
in other words, we lock the city.
We pulling up the calendar.
We lock the city. Miami nothing right now. Miami nothing. A lot of Chinese now canceling Miami.
Just to go
To go to Tobago because of the economy. Because Miami now is airfare, accommodation, rental car. There no bus. Well, the bus service in Miami like PTSD.
Yeah.
You don't see it, right?
Serious?
Yeah,
But I'm laughing at in the back. Yeah.
Oh, you must say that.
No, but it's where you're staying to. It's where you're staying to. It's where you're staying. Anyway, you must have your car in Miami. So it's airfare accommodation thing and then wardrobe and thing and that. So North Trinidad is saying, listen, let me try Tobago and skip that expense. Because Miami expensive. Miami expensive. So let me do Tobago and see now.
Well, let's go about season.
And then the nice part for the soca artists now, you could release music now for Tobago. So if you release a song early September, middle September, if that song catch and take off in Tobago, that taking
Right,
straight down. So Tobago now is the end, but it's also the beginning. So we're launching music now for early September. Early September. Get a little time to catch. I mean, certain stations is rotated 15 times a day and force it to catch.
Yeah.
But the real thing is a little early September, and you're like, well, I'll tune.
You know, you're looking for new music coming into October.
Right, and that carry, you know, so you're getting more soca on the airwaves now. You're getting more soca, you're getting more new soca on the airwaves October, September, October.
That good. I know it's supposed to be good for the
It
industry.
creates employment now for the artists. And it chip on the
for how many
promoter.
artists?
So guys, there's a
For how many artists?
360
No, it's a whole
How many artists?
How many artists created more for?
Yeah.
Not much, because a lot of artists is just likes and shares and views.
Right. Because not the majority don't talk. It's just a handful of them.
Is the same. Yeah, we share a whole pack of nuts here. It's the same people outside, you know. So Kes doing his thing.
And you see it
Kes
now,
already
bring our next one.
work for anybody as such.
You see me sharing a whole pack of nuts. bring our next
I am a thing.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, okay, voice, look at voice. Very rare you can hire voice. Voice doing his concerts now. Look at Labor Day. Well, Labor Day weekend, because there's no parade on Eastern Parkway. You know. There's a Carnival week, but there's no parade on Eastern Parkway.
Okay.
So you have Voice doing his thing on the first, Marshall on the third. They own shows. So Voice doing own shows, Marshall doing own shows, Kes doing own shows. He will take a job, you know, here and there. So that leaves the Orphan and the Second Star and the, you know what I mean. But the promoters, it's hard to, it's expensive to hire these guys too.
True. But
In case
you
your
know
boss,
what,
your
yeah.
boss in problems.
as you talk that, with expensive Irish guys, right? This season we went through here. Right? We went through Carnival in
The one with
July,
the
August.
cow painting, that one?
No.
Oh,
After. Everything that come after.
Okay.
With all the sellout fets and all these things, right?
Stink and dirty,
All these
jam
things.
naked, yes.
People are that theory, right? And I tell them it's a matter of time before that, you know, that out the door. Promoters have a thing that they feel if they don't book Marshall, they ain't sell out. But
Well,
Marshall wasn't nowhere in this period.
Right. No, but see, when you
And-
book,
and
when you
things sell
book,
off.
when you book, okay, Marshall will sell your tickets. A promoter will take a chance booking Marshall,
And the price went up, right?
knowing that, yeah, because he will bring the audience, he will bring the numbers, but you might break even.
But you think
who's
this
selling the
period here
tickets?
change anything? You think this period here change our perception?
No, because the live artist, the live performance, the artists themselves kind of out booking themselves because of their cost too. So it's basically DJ,
Okay.
bring your cooler, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
They have certain fets in the carnival season, don't need an artist. That whole tribe
Sure.
squad there with the 6 and 7 events for the carnival season. It was said to me, we don't need an artist.
You know, a man was trying to invigorate me. He wanted to,
Well, whoever is
he
your
wanted me to
pull.
do an event.
If you don't have a pull, Marshall is a pull. That's what he's saying. Some people don't need Marshall. They have their own
He
pull.
wanted to do an event, boy, Carnival.
While you're working,
Yeah,
if
go
you
ahead,
have
go ahead.
if you have Marshall
An
here
event, boy, I'm trying to
and you have
do it.
5 other artists next door, they go with Marshall. He's still up in the
Well,
game.
the alternative concept proved that when it went up against Brass.
Well, I was present for the whole drama with Brass, but we won't have to go into that now. But I have full details. I was part of it.
When did you start Marshall Monday? A man went behind me for years to try event in the day on that Monday.
Nah,
I asked him if he mad.
suicide. Yeah, no.
I tell him I feel
He
like
doesn't even
it's
pay so free. They ain't coming. They're prepping.
You're
Come on.
paying them.
Yeah.
And you're paying them $20 to come through that door.
I say, boy, you ought to be mad. Actually, we
It's
are
like,
going to
like the
Marshall,
last couple of soca monarchs. They was giving away
But
complimentary
when he
outside,
did,
everybody wasn't going.
but that show was called, the first Marshall Monday was called the Alternative Concept. That's all.
Yes, sir.
And that was to go up against brass. That was brass night, 13 band in PSA.
I remember when Marshall, I remember doing an interview with Marshall some years ago, and he said why, you know. He mentioned he had big trucker here in Brass Festival, and they put him on like minutes at 6 in the morning.
Oh no.
That's what he said.
All right,
Something
but
like that.
I tell you I was part of it. I said no.
So wait
I'm not going there.
He said he not going there.
And I said before you ask that question,
So
I said,
don't
I
ask
was
the
part of
question
it.
twice.
I know all the details.
We moving on.
So whatever he said,
Come on.
they put him on 6 in the morning in
Or
Brass.
five late,
That
you know, in the
time in
morning.
Brass.
They put him on, I think it's around
He
that
was
time.
there. They put him on after a particular band. And he
Oh.
wanted to go after that band.
And that's when he, after
insisted
next
on
year,
doing
he still
before that band.
he gonna do your own thing and troll to the
Yeah, and he pull out. That same year he pull
that
out.
same year he pull out.
Pull out. The night before, the day before. And he went and did all the little
Watch me.
radio station and stuff.
No matter what you tell
Stop
yourself,
leaving
Marshall
and
works
stop it.
very hard.
No.
Marshall,
The man is
no,
a genius. The man is a genius.
Well,
Come now, man.
He
I would
is-
say he's a genius.
I want to tell you something. He has
Marketing
had the
wise, everything.
benefit of his mother and his father, and they've worked hard too. But he's gotten some good people. Because I was alive for his whole transition, and they've made the right moves at the right,
At the right time.
They make some smart
Yeah.
moves. Whether you like him or not, that's on you.
Oh yeah, he's still
But
selling
he's-
the most tickets.
But
Yeah.
exactly,
He's selling the most
he
tickets.
makes good moves.
And that's the next thing, you know. He does make it. He's selling the most tickets because he has stage performance. He can perform.
And he sells a
You
package.
right? So let me right.
You buying a whole
So
show.
hold on. Yeah, but it had
And he
two
also has a
men.
repertoire.
Yeah, but it had two
So
men.
you can sing 20 songs tonight and sing 20 more the next
But it
night.
had two men I know.
Unlike some other artists.
It had two men I know before the Marshall era. Anyway, they're going to mash up the crowd. And he one of them.
No, well, we still.
And the next one is Super Blue.
And Iowa George.
And I was the next man.
No, we still out there.
But in terms of what you and Drew used to do, and Iowa, in that era there,
I'm going to tell you something
on
about
Soca Monarch
But
especially.
Marshall don't bring out a band. He's bring a
I'm
band.
going to tell you
It's
something
Carnival, it's
about your
mass.
friend Super Blue and my brethren Super Blue.
Yeah.
Super Blue never contributed to the build up of Carnival. You know. Super Blue used to come and get in the palm of his hand. You know. Carnival Bacchanal used to start boxing night.
Rebecca,
Correct?
bring the thing.
Hold on a man.
Rebecca, woo.
But listen to what I'm saying now. Super Blue used to get it in the palm of his hand.
Boss
The
man.
band singers, let me finish this piece.
Talk your thing.
The band singers is the one who used to build the vibe from boxing night. Remember Super Blue bringing his songs 2 weeks before Carnival, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody waiting on it.
I prefer when he was Blue Boy.
But the bands used to build it from boxing night and build the vibe. So when Super Blue coming down 2 to 3 weeks before,
Everybody hype already.
everybody hype already. We used to build the vibe.
Yeah.
So when Super come here, we used to give him it, you know, up here.
That's true, no? There was a time there was so many bands.
But man,
Traffic, Chandelier,
it's the band singers
Ecstatic,
used to build the vibe. Super
Blue
Blue
Ventures,
wasn't part of Super Blue.
Callian.
Okay.
They had
No,
plenty.
if
They had
you
plenty.
check it correctly, Super Blue.
David Rudder, Charlie
No.
Roots, Charlie's Roots.
But
That-
he
that- that-
got
that-
his props for Carnival, and he's the Carnival. But we,
All them
the
singing
band
the-
singers,
all them singing the
used
hits.
to build the Carnival from boxing night. When Super Blue come in town now, it done here already. And they didn't bring his song and they
When he
couldn't
said
do
the
it.
band singers, the band lead singers, and them, they had their name too.
Yeah.
They, all of them singing everybody hit song.
Yeah, we
So
built it.
so you know the song.
But
Right.
back then, live band was it, you know.
Super Blue never performed in no Fed boxing night
I remember.
or New Year's night.
Boxing night in Arima.
But it wasn't
Hey,
Super
no, no,
Blue
no.
then, he was Blue Boy.
He make a
Yes,
whole
Arima.
tent moving
Yes,
after you know.
Arima.
Arriba, yeah.
He make a
Smash
whole
up.
tent moving after you know. I don't know if you
Boss
remember
man.
that, you know.
I make what?
A whole tent.
We was across the road in
Become a
Luxor.
whole tent.
We was across the
That
road
year
in
you sing
Luxor,
with donkey.
Mall. I will tell you, we was across the
I'm
road.
telling you, a whole tent coming through the fence.
That was like the Canadians 2 years ago.
Man.
You know, I want to say this,
Go ahead, sir, go
don't pelt that me.
Yeah, nah.
Some of them, they just
I
have some
forward.
nice music, boy. I
This year, you mean? Oh,
no, in the past, I mean, I guess I was reminiscing.
The Bajans?
Yeah, like,
we gave them. You
Wet
see,
Me Down and thing. I miss them
not Wet Me Down.
days.
Wet Me Down is Johnny King.
No, Wet Me. That was,
This is Crossfire talking
Crossfire.
about. Yeah. But they got a run, you know.
they got a
Square
run.
One with Allison, Edwin and Crossfire, even Coalition with Rupee, they got a run. Even Mac Fingal and Red
I never
Plastic Bag.
understood Rupee, honestly. But Crossfire,
You never understood.
But they,
I never
but they got
I
a
never
run.
understood-
But hold
never
on,
understood
they got
what
a
they-
run and they got disrespectful.
Probably.
Because there was an interview with Red Plastic Bag. He was doing an interview in Toronto, and he said, you know, Trinidadians need to respect the fact that the Bajans have taken over.
Oh God.
And that was the
I
last you
remember
heard of
that.
it. And that was the last, and that was the last you heard of the bag.
If I remember that, I remember
You know
hearing
what I'm
about that.
saying? So-
But I've heard about it.
But they had a run. Even beside them, the Calypsonians, the Swallows, Obstinate, King Short Shirt. They had a run. They was
No,
big
but
in the tent.
Alison Hines was, she was in her day.
Yeah, and
She
she's
was,
still in the mix.
No, but I mean in her day though, she was a powerhouse.
In the prime.
We used to
She
love
was
them.
a
They used to get paid more than us for
powerhouse.
Brass Festival. It was
Yeah.
5,000 US they was being paid.
Remember that band?
Byron
Julia?
Lee.
I
Huh?
don't know.
Conga Line. Who sang Conga Line?
Spice and Company.
Spice and Company. That was the first of the Bajan invasion.
You know who Spice and Company is? Red Boys, you know.
That's Red Boys.
Well,
Who was
it's-
producer of Amanapi?
well, used to.
But that was the first of the
Right,
Bajan
that one,
invasion.
right.
That song Conga Line. They never sing another song after that, you know.
Let me leave that right there.
The
But
last farmer was
Two calypsos.
Was it Red Boys?
That's why it didn't hit.
Two calypso soca international.
It's called Chemistry.
Hot, and Conga Line. You go to a wedding in New York, them two song playing. For sure. I don't know any, I could be wrong because
Dollar Vine.
Dollar.
Moving to the left.
Yeah.
Palance.
But everything had to evolve, you know.
Balance back now.
Palance. But what's me? I mean, they get fed up.
No, they have a chronology of songs. You gotta hear Rock the Boat, you gotta hear Hey Pucky Way, you gotta
No, but
Oh What
Palance for
a
the
Night.
road. Palance for the road in terms of like street parades. So like all Notting Hill,
Yeah,
all the
they
Germany.
stumble on a big song. They-
Palance, yeah. I mean, they say, oh, we
stumble
fed up
on-
about Palance, but Palance big
But
in
Ronnie,
them street parades.
in your time, you ever thought at all you would have seen through that 155 or 160 BPM as road match?
Yeah. Well, I think
The seat was getting faster.
Bahia girl
Change
change the game. And
David
then,
Redder changed the game, brother. David Redder, the whole
And the
schism,
slowest road match to date, right?
Bahia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
the whole schism was David Redder. What was that, 1986?
86, yeah.
86.
That's when he won the triple.
The Triple Crown,
He won
1986.
he won the March Gras, and he won Young Kings and Road March.
Boss, David Redder.
Anything else?
In
Anything you guys
New
want?
York boss man, you are here as our
Anything else you guys
historian.
wanna know?
Anytime we
You
go
go
to
ahead,
talk
man.
Carnival, and we will never,
Carnival, you
we
know.
will never refer to it, make a note, never refer to it as the thing.
At that thing, yeah.
Only ask about this thing that
Yeah, just tell you.
Tell you the
Good
thing.
thing.
Careful, watch your finger.
Only ask about this situation I mentioned some months ago.
Ronnie wasn't even the thing to think. Ronnie, I remember.
You think. Well, yes.
So you hold it out there.
Carnival is got it, yeah.
I wasn't here when you were here. So I had to ask you this because you're a band leader too. You're a band man too. You're a band.
Right.
I sitting down and I saying how one man seemed to be monopolizing Carnival.
Oh, no, don't talk that now. Because we had to come back at that whole show in here. There's a lot of politics.
Not
There's
really.
politics.
It's a business, not
But it's-
really. Demand
Yeah, but
on
there's a good thing or a bad thing.
demand on a business. If you have a band and you're not handling anything properly and you're under pressure, and a man call you and say, hey, I see you under some pressure, boy. Let me
All of that come out of poison.
hold on. Poison.
All of that come out of poison.
All of them came from Barbarossa, came from poison.
All of that come out of
All of them
poison.
was sections in
Poison was,
Legacy.
again, that was the change.
Now, but poison was the bad.
Poison was
Poison was the
15
change.
sections. Let me say 20 sections, but 18 was
All of
guest
them
sections. you know.
guest sections and spin off and come up with their own
So
band.
all them is tribe and legacy and Barbarossa.
That learn-
came
that learn from poison.
From poison. As
Poison
a section.
Poison was an industry.
But poison section was 500 a section.
Poison was an industry.
You could leave and form.
I used to remember people don't want
But
to
you
go on
guys did
stage
a
after
business,
It's
poison.
a business.
If you
Poison
under
take the
pressure,
whole of Carnival Monday on
if it's
stage.
synergy or whoever under pressure, that man say, hey, we talk some business, I could take you out of that hole.
We make our money.
And I think, and you take it, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see it headed in a good place where one man could be
But
controlling
he's
the whole
not,
of
no, but
Carnival.
he's not, he's not
But he's
Carnival.
not, it's not a monopoly, you know. You could choose, he said it last time.
not Carnival.
He said if you want to go and play Aztecs and Concurrent Heroes in Carnival, bring it out.
Go ahead. Go
It's
and
what the people buy in. He is not a monopoly, you know.
People say, oh, there's no
You
story.
could-
There's no time
You
have
could
no
say what
story,
you
brother.
want about Dean Akin.
Wristband, brother, wristband.
You could say what you want about Dean Akin, and I tell you, he is my favorite person in the world. But again, the man doing the business. If it's a model that working,
Yeah.
Why other people not emulating him? They're selling themselves into him.
But the same thing we doing here, that's what they want all over the world. So all who looking for the Aztecs and the Amerindians, and you bring out your own band with that, you know. But Carnival is wristband.
Yeah,
When I
Carnival is a rolling party. Trinidad, everybody come here to party for 7 days straight. That is what Carnival is. Day and night, people working out. I'll get 1 hour here,
Yeah,
2 hours
yeah.
there. I'll go bathe by you, I'll go eat by you, and we're on the road. Just tell me where the food is, where the drinks is, and that is it, right?
Yeah.
And your ears ringing for the next 2
You
months.
pay money to have a good time.
The decibel level of the music is damaging people's hearing. When are we going to have that conversation?
The decibel of the music is damaging people's
Hearing.
hearing. I was part of the truck, on the truck. My first year on Chandelier truck, I saw everybody had earplugs. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know the purpose. But at the end of the first night, Carnival Monday night, my ears was ringing. You know what I mean? So
It's not good. It's not good. We need to have that conversation, you know.
But
Who
but
they calling? Who they sending to call if you buy the truck and the music so loud? I mean, it's damaging people here, and that's my one thing.
but then don't play the band, you know.
Somebody
Don't play the band.
somebody need to tell the young people who don't know that
Phillip,
you
don't play
can't
the-
fix that.
Don't play the
But
band.
Ronnie, that ever affected
Tinnitus
you?
can't fix it.
No.
Tinnitus.
That ever affected you in any way?
Eh? In the rum shop, you know? In the rum shop. Rum shop.
You're really quicker than that. You're really quicker than that.
I ain't done with them yet. See why I'm drinking rum on this show? I ain't done with them yet.
You want to add rum to the show?
What you mean?
I'm bringing a bottle. I'm bringing a
David,
bottle of vodka.
what's going on here
You're
tonight,
talking
boy?
that 3 weeks now.
I'm bringing a
Is
liter.
that
of
good?
vodka.
Bring down
Banry,
there, boy.
if you bring alcohol
Pressure
on
here,
this
boy,
show,
David, boy. Pressure.
Banry, you know how much stupidness we're going to end up talking about this? Jesus, by the second hour. What?
He shot a slip out. I did something. Last week it come out. It come out
Really?
smooth.
You know what? You know what? Yeah, boy, last
Didn't
week.
notice it.
Yeah,
It was like,
no, I got a call from people in church. I got a call from people in church. Mr. Matterson, come on. I say it's the second hour.
Boy,
The
free
second
yourself.
hour is not
Free yourself.
PG. We have Matterson. But that said, today's show was very serious, and Ronnie, you brought a nice vibe. You always do.
That's the plan, yeah. That's the plan.
And
Oh, I learn a lot.
you see, I'm not blowing smoke. Eh? I want people
Yeah,
to
man, I
understand.
respect that, yeah.
Ronnie McIntosh is you've lived the history of Carnival. You've lived the history. You watched Calypso become soca. You see it.
My dad was part of that and he didn't like
No,
it.
but I talk about in your lifetime.
Yeah, that was it. He make a
That's what I was
profit.
just trying to say. That I remember Blue Boy of Rebecca and Ethel and Soca Baptist. That I still love those songs.
Yeah.
But Signal Talara and thing change again, and you have to respect that.
Yeah.
We
Everything you've got.
live in a time where the audience determines the content. Yes.
Correct.
So if the audience determines the content, his job is to cater to the audience.
Yeah.
Tribe, Marshall,
Whoever, yeah.
everybody job. Every now and then somebody will try a little thing on the side.
All who find it supposed to be a certain way, you enter the game and you
Somebody
bring
say
that.
the pandemic make voice.
What? No, man.
That people who was big online during the lockdown come out of the pandemic
Yeah.
big. That is true or not?
Well, he had the show he was doing on Instagram. It
and
it
getting
might
like
have
6,000,
given him a-
7,000
Yeah,
views,
it
Well,
might
it
have given
built
him
him.
a different profile.
It built him, yeah,
You know, it
but-
built his personality.
But that's
and
a smart
his-
move. Nobody else
You
did
know?
it.
It built him as voice the
top-
person rather than
what-
voice
what-
the
what you-
artist.
what you would
I'ma put it that
say-
way.
I don't know how long to
Humble
start.
you too. Real good you too.
I don't know
Yeah,
how
man.
I don't know how long to start the history from, but what you would say are the most memorable songs, Carnival soca songs,
Ever?
Calypso, whatever, most memorable. If you had to count, I mean, no, seriously, I like when you say, all right, before we answer that question, the year after Bahia Girl, when Gypsy sing Ram Bam, that was he was seriously holding a grudge, or that
Yeah,
was
because
kids?
he's saying, of course, and he will tell you that. Because he's saying he had to sing foolishness, you know. to
But that
win.
wasn't foolishness. That was well oiled.
That man sing raga, raga, raga.
Raga raga. We want ha ra 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 ra. Kaya partner.
But if
I was saying hard for about 14 years.
Hear me now. When you see, I was songs it doesn't make sense when you're going to work in your car.
Back in our bed.
Hold on. And that's deliberate.
With 4 or 5 on in
You're
you.
going to work in your little shirt and
Hey,
tie.
Ronnie, I'm away the same thing, eh? It don't make sense when you're going to work in your car.
Right.
Yeah,
Monday
never thought
morning.
about it. That
As
way.
you think and always say, let me go, we go in
They're
fed.
not playing I want
When you reach in
97.
there and you reach in there and you have some shots and you get some shots and you get some shots.
Watch me.
I was saying that now we mash up. I was saying that now we mash up. I'm telling you.
But he's singing that next year too. That is the same song. But joke and
But you
fun.
just say supply the
Joke and
audience.
fun.
The audience.
Joke and fun aside.
Yeah, sure.
Dead or alive. That was a big tune.
What, Sparrow?
Dead, no.
Wanted Dead or Alive?
Sherwin Winchester.
Dead or
Dead or
Alive, we pumping.
That was
Yeah.
a bad tune. I was in.
But how big? Why
That
is
was
it
big. I was in Soca Monarch in the Oval for that song. When it did start with the iron. Tung,
Yeah.
tung, tung. I tell you, when the song starts, I'm not lying. The oval shape.
You
is
see,
wrong.
but those years, out of 12 contestants, 10 songs was big. Because all songs used to be played. Whereas, okay, like for Maximus Dan with Hold Them and Walk Them, every year now we getting this one song. Back in the day, it had about 30 songs mashing up the fed at the same level. Our party don't bounce again, you know. But you see the cell phone, but
But that killed the thing, yeah. To me, that killed the thing.
But
Everybody
the ladies had the clutch post here. You drink here.
set a selfie and I set a...
And the phone here. They go,
Yeah.
everybody want to be, you know, a journalist.
Pretty.
Everybody want to be
Everybody
seen.
feel
I
pretty.
know,
But no, but what caused it
Everybody
back
want to feel pretty. So we say we don't bounce in the
long time
man.
a female could have
So-
been a fet and maybe bend over and maybe piece of the underwear show
Let
and
go.
she just pull down.
Let-
No, a man taping.
Let go. You can't let
Everyone
go. no more.
taping. So to prevent me ending up on social media in any kind of funny way, let me stand up.
Yeah, but she coming in the underwear.
Some of them come in with
Some of them
outfit.
come in.
Some of them come in with outfit.
Those are the ones who don't care and they don't mind ending up on social
Stephan
media.
Reis. Stephan Reis. What was the name of your last cruise?
Forbidden pleasures.
What was the rest of the name?
Was it what?
What was the rest of the name?
Sexy
Alright,
And was it just go there?
It wasn't shirt and pants.
Because wear anything, but if you want to wear suit,
Alright,
so
so
why
don't
did-
play it talking.
Why did you instigate that? Why
No
did you
praise.
act
You
that?
was up there. We push it.
But you wanted to see that.
it was actually a female member of my committee that come up with sexy and swimwear.
But you was the head of
You was the
committee.
boss.
You said shut it down.
You
Or you
talking
didn't shut it down?
politics and
Listen.
giving Rowley all that stick. And you trying to pretend now, oh, it's the cabinet, then
Listen, you ever try to argue with one woman?
That's true.
All right, you lost the argument.
Take a drink.
Yeah, but the box
No, but
office
people
do-
wherever they wanted. People wherever they wanted. We didn't.
Men are in
that.
charge as long as women allow it.
Well,
Except in Matterson House, he's the
Nah,
king.
watch me.
He's the boss.
That's a chauvinist statement. I staying away from that statement.
No, you said as long as they allow it. As long as they allow it.
Men are the boss as long as women
well, I
allow
think
it.
a woman.
That's not
look,
chauvinistic, that's
if
the
we're
opposite.
talking about it, I mean, I think a woman could wear. I comfortable with a woman wearing what she want to wear.
Especially on the boat cruise.
If once no,
That's a whole other conversation. We will
once-
talk about
Once
clothes.
she
We
know
talk about clothes and the purpose of clothes.
once she
Another time.
know what she about. You know, it has some women when we all kind of thing, but they not know about it.
People, there are people in this world.
You know why women
That
dress
were
how they
handed.
dress? You know why? You know why them girls them dress how they dress? It's them competing, you know.
Among themselves?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
they competing.
A woman
It's a
said-
competition.
No, a woman-
They been studying, you know.
I love that kind of.
I love
No,
that. If it's that
so
kind of
applaud the competition. Go ahead. Watch me.
A
They been
woman-
studying, you know.
A woman said that I
They
read
been
that
studying you.
Stephan, that a woman said that
That's telling you.
women prefer to undress in front of men than in front of other women.
Other women?
Other women are judgmental and men are just always grateful.
I carry girl boat ride already. Watch me. I went boat ride and thing with girl already. Ask girl how time we going boat ride and thing. And the girl reach in the car park and see a girl wearing the same thing that she wearing and went to and change it.
Of course, yeah. Now they don't play that.
They don't play that. It's a competition. You can't look better than me. The same thing.
The women dressing for other
It's a
women.
competition.
They're not like men. Generally, you're looking nice. When a woman asks a man, how are you looking? You're looking good. But she, in her mind, you're right. But
It's a competition.
Why?
Something special.
It's a
But why?
competition.
But what's
thing.
the competition for, though?
I don't know. You never hear a woman sit down and talk. Who she feel? I wouldn't wear that.
No, but I was going to tell you
You know,
something.
guys, some women-
People get handed.
We know. We got throw on our jersey and our jeans and we good. We gone.
Boss
Yeah,
man,
that's
women
what-
allow that.
And if you're not a person who women look at, come to the party with a real nice looking woman.
Oh, go on down here. They want to know it how. But we didn't do it. Nah.
Hey, all the other who watching
What?
this show, and going and message me about what Patterson and Reis say.
I just said.
I want to tell you something. Boss man, remember, see that kind of trouble, they just blow up my phone, eh?
No, listen, I just applaud women. If a woman looks sexy and she tail off to look how she looking and she want to put on something that makes you feel sexy and she comfortable in it.
Very well.
But you just said we can put a jersey and a jeans.
She
right?
want to look for 10 man when
You just said we can put a jersey and a jeans. If all the nice women started checking men who wearing suits, all of we wearing suits. There's no man in any gym who running around any savannah because he want to. We know
We doing that.
we tell him we say that we want to be healthy.
My father always tell me when I was small. So from time I was 12, he says, son, when you want to pull the nicest woman, you see when everybody running she down, you just stay by yourself and ignore she. She go past all of them and come by you.
Serious?
But she
But
wanted
I know.
what she wanted. It's true.
I know.
And we know curiosity does kill the cat.
What about you that you watch curiosity?
What
about you that you're not interested in?
All of them on me. She bored with them. She want to know why you went on G.
I know you are a sweet man, so it had to be working.
I thought
for
a
you.
sweet man.
I remember when we went to do candlelight movement in
He was style.
Shagwanas. He reached late. And all them women,
Where's Stephan?
where's Stephan? I feel like I was Stephan's secretary very night. I'm taking notes. Where's Stephan? When he reached, I say, there was a crew over there, and there was a crew over there.
Forbidden
they
pleasure.
waited. Forbidden pleasures.
Pleasure.
All of them leave their husband home.
That's where the name come from. Forbidden pleasure.
Joke and fun.
I'll change back the name, you know.
Church cruise.
I'll change the name.
Church cruise.
And that's how I go back when you break it, but I go back and rebrand
But man,
it.
the show is running very long tonight. You gotta wrap
Yeah,
up
and I see
the
one who
workshop,
wanted to leave at 6:30, but
Wrap it up.
when you have an entertainer and you entertain, you know, you go the
No, but I
extra.
call a song though, Dead or Alive. I find that was one of the best songs. Soca
You think
Baptist.
what for road march?
Look, he going back there.
No, you call Dead or Alive.
It was a big song that year.
It
but
was
there
a
were
big
many
song.
others.
It was a big
Sherwin,
song.
I think Sherwin have so much potential.
Sherwin, what's been Sherwin traveling still, you know?
Yeah.
You have guys.
You ever song a kind of Indian beat? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, a slow, a groovy one.
Yeah, groovy.
Yeah.
No. I can't sing it.
Well, listen, if you want to talk about the
no,
best
no,
song,
no.
Giving it
I
to
would-
me.
Don't stop. Let's give it some. Let's have a chat.
if you're talking power soca,
Yeah, okay.
we're talking power soca. I don't care. You could play 20 years from now. It's Carnival. You see that Destra?
That's Marshall.
That Destra Marshall.
Destra Marshall, yeah.
You see that tune? You play that anywhere, anytime.
That's mashup. That's your mashup song.
It go and mash
No,
up.
but those songs are big songs
It's a
outside. Destra is one of the most traveled artists, you know.
I don't know
Quiet
how Destra not. When Destra leave and she go outside, Destra is like one of the biggest in Jamaica.
But
In Jamaica, she like
there's nothing bigger than in Jamaica than
Patrice
Destra.
Roberts. The first time I saw Patrice Roberts when she sang that song, Stamp Your Name. I don't know if she sang before. That Colonel Roberts wrote for her. And she sang Stamp Your Name. I said, this girl gonna have a huge career. She went in a totally different direction. I mean, soca get real sexualized.
Yeah.
This black man girl.
Nyla.
Nyla.
She was doing well for
Different. But
Is that different?
different.
And then she have the team behind her. That is important.
You should have a good team and good legacy behind her.
Team
Don't
and
forget the
legacy.
legacy.
Yeah, don't forget that.
You understand? You know one thing just before we go now, just you know as Ronnie said, no kind of thing. That one thing I always remember, boy. It is happened with the athletes too, but plenty with the entertainers. I remember Pal Joey Lewis, as you know, article with him, and he did that interview and he said, when I touch down in any airport, in certain airports, I am adored, you know. I am Pal Joey Lewis.
Yeah.
But when I touch down in Trinidad,
But we
no
don't.
res- I don't get
We
a
take our
we
people
don't get
for
a
granted.
respect.
Not the
you know?
people, our whole culture.
Yeah,
Let's take our people for
But
granted.
man, culture and sports and things is the last on the list, you know.
Yeah.
No, but Beckham and them is telling where they living is the same thing. Them walking around in town and nobody ain't care because you're accustomed. You know, here, there are people in the world
I just find
would jump off a building to get close to that.
you know.
We normal too, you see. Our personality is normal.
Yeah, they not sing. They just normal.
You have some of those who will, go walk in the bank and that kind of way, but we normal.
Yeah.
I mean, most of us normal, You have the one who just, play diva.
But I want to say to all of you watching that somebody talks because some of you all think that this is going to be a very serious show all the time. We call it rum shop talk. We call it rum shop talk. That's pasta.
Rumless shop.
Rumless shop talk. Don't worry that. Oh God, Ronnie.
I know,
They
yeah.
have pasta in a rum shop talk.
You understand?
Pasta.
She drinking wine.
Nothing.
I want to say that those of you all who just complain when we talk a little raga and all of we talking, and we say, please, one time. This is not
Yeah,
breaking
Kibbles
down.
complain about everything.
This
but
is
for
not
the boy,
breaking
isn't it?
down.
Oh,
This
gosh.
is rum
Shop talk.
Yeah.
We're not rum shop.
Or they have more water in here than plenty people have in the tap. They have more water in here than people have in the tap in the house.
I think we need to give Ronnie,
Let me end this.
we need to give Ronnie a 6 months ban. Like these papaya dealers, who pay on a ban.
They have more water in here than people have water in their
Ronnie, we
tap.
afraid rum in this place. But I know at some point, like a rum shop, when was David? The rum shop they wanted us this week
That rum shop wanted us this week.
To do some lives from the rum shop.
to do this show.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Granny.
Set up that tour.
No, we're going on tour. We're going on tour. We're taking you with us. But we're going on tour to all them rum shop. You talk that.
Brandy.
But I want to be the first.
Why you so?
Why God?
Only let's go Miami and only let's drive from New York to Baltimore. Now it's Grandy, everything far for you. Grandy right there. Ask them when they travel.
All the Trinidad, that was his saying.
They move the crosswalk. They move the crosswalk on Reis Road. So you could use the walkover. Right? Man complaining. Oh God, so far we had to walk.
You know I don't understand, bro. You know I don't understand.
When you go to New York now, and they say don't cross here. Cross down.
Trini follows other people's rules.
It's right there.
We don't follow our rules, but we follow other people's rules good.
Yeah. Go to land New York.
You know what time we had to leave here to reach Grandy for walk?
Mr. Man, I see
Light and red in New York. Cross on the red, cross on the green, like that. Cross.
I see city man flying.
We're still talking about Grandy. You see, when they say that the crosswalk moving, UNC found this thing like they was taking off the walkover.
That was in the media. That was a newspaper article.
No, but it was still the crosswalk they was talking about. But
But they show the
kick
picture of
off.
that.
Yeah,
But it's misleading. We are accustomed to being misled by all administrations.
Listen, this place
they
is
said like $20 million down the drain.
to say
I said, but
comedy.
the
This is
word
not
crosswalk,
comedy.
crosswalk.
Yeah, but then
Comedy.
you can't show a picture of that.
I hear you.
You're misleading people. But we are accustomed of being misled. Correct?
Yes, correct.
We
That's right.
we have been misled for the last 60 years.
Look, but this
we have been institutionalized. as
Yes,
great.
so why you complaining now? A little misleading. You can't complain now.
this country,
It's 60 years now.
this country is such a
Phillip?
comedy. We are such a
You know,
comedy.
me, I told you.
I want to hear.
This week, right? We had several reports of fake police robbing people, and I read an article today where apparently the solution is for the real police to stop wearing the uniform. The fake police.
You serious?
I have a partner.
Serious?
Watch me. I have a partner. He's a police, and he checked me today. And I asked him. I said
Right.
this police badge here.
Lie, Stephan.
No, watch me, Stephan. I asked him. I said the badge that says Trinidad and Tobago police
Lie,
station.
Stephan.
This says Velcro. He said yes. I said, well, get one that says Peaks. Because they're wearing the same outfit, you know.
Yeah.
So when the fake police, because apparently the fake police gun in for the real police.
Stephan, you're lying.
I go and find. I get that.
That fake police.
So put the police in plain clothes.
They had war in
Unless-
So anybody in uniform
Listen.
is a bandit.
Unless there is some satirical article, which I don't think it is.
Jacob suggested that. When you read the article,
No,
of
Phillip.
say-
Well, it can't be serious, man.
Police
Yeah, man.
to stop wearing the dark blue
he had said
uniform
that.
and he named the mask
Right.
when in roadblocks and thing now. You want to stop them from wearing that.
That's two different releases. I agree with
Yeah.
the last thing. But going back to the grey and blue, Ben and Grey, that how they used to dress before.
Wearing that, boy.
It's Gary team that put out this thing when they coming out with the tall socks too, because they wanted to laugh at him. I think it's a stupid concept just to change the uniform, thinking that they're gonna make a difference. But I am
But then
also
those guys will get fake in those uniforms as well.
But
It's
exactly.
it's easy
But
access.
exactly, you could walk in any of them shops, these tactical shops that
And-
selling
and-
police
and-
clothes.
And I guess they're probably buying it from the same makers who.
Brother
make it
man, this
police.
is what I'm saying today. Go
Oh, they're getting it
Pix,
from the police.
go
themselves.
Pix gas
No, no,
station,
that, yeah.
go Pix
So
gas
you-
station
we
tonight.
stop
Go
when
Pix gas
the
station
police-
tonight. Everything
You
they
don't
have
You
is
don't
the
know.
police
You hear that
uniform
question, Philip?
with the badge
As a
different.
woman driving.
Philip, you hear that question?
Wait that article, boy. Where you see that?
Do we stop as a female as she's asking that question?
What do I do? Suppose
But that is for your commissioner to answer. If I answer, they go say I telling people to do the wrong thing.
Exactly.
But people in
That's
danger.
frightening.
You have fake police outside there, and you are not giving the people public service announcements telling them what to
I
do.
go and get a blue light.
Oh, no. It's not the uniform. I stand corrected.
No, man.
They're stopping them from wearing the balaclava mask during roadblocks and such.
No, but they have one about the uniform.
Is that one about the uniforms? Yes. I see
I
one
go
about
and
the
get a blue
uniforms, boy.
I get a blue
I
light.
saw
A fake blue light.
something from the Emancipation Support Committee
Uh-huh.
where they was talking about police killings.
Wait, hold on. The Emancipation Support Committee put out a statement after emancipation. No, I just.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
They were talking about the amount of police killings.
Them and the president policy, they say that.
I find this show needs to change to Slack Talk Shop. Slack Talk Shop. It's no longer Rum Shop Talk. Anyway,
But to see a shock whenever that you say.
good people who are watching the show, we have to bring it to a wrap and a close. I would like to say that it was an immense pleasure being part of the original crew, having Selma join us, but having Pastor Esther Prince and of course our good friend and historian, Ronnie McIntosh.
Yes, man.
Rock
Sit down
by.
next to our pastor, there, boy.
A real pastor.
They feel blessings, they feel blessings.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
but
yeah.
close the rum shop now, man.
All right, well, you don't do everything already.
I just
you know.
say hello.
So that's the rum shop for this week. Next week, I will be sipping on
Real
vodka.
rum. Real rum.
Real thing.
Someone
And,
signing
yeah, vodka and
So
cranberry
the
juice
reason
or
why
something.
they have
Brandy.
no alcohol because the pastor,
Not
yeah.
at all.
Well, no, I don't think
You
it's
know they have custom.
You hear Esther distance herself from
All of a
them.
sudden, all they drinking water.
we were
When the
thinking-
pastor in here, all they drinking all kind of
Ronnie,
drink.
Jesus first miracle.
Come on, she will turn the water into
Jesus'
wine.
first miracle was water into wine.
Well, this ain't changing at all.
Well, we are.
That's vodka.
We in the
You
rum
water is
shop.
open.
So you could change water into vodka?
I said we would bring a bottle of
Wait a minute.
vodka.
We thought it was that
Rum
close.
shop,
We thought it was that close to him now. But they might have been able to help us
Take me
out.
home, David West. Take me home.
We in the rum shop. 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 So bring a rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk. So bring a rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk.